presents the National Football League. Today from Busch Stadium, it's the Kansas City Chiefs versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value. By Bud Light, everything else is just alike. And by Harris Corporation and their Lanier Business Product Divisions. Lanier, we're easy to use. And meanwhile, in the Meadowlands, with less than 4 minutes to go in that ball game, the New York Giants are leading the Denver Broncos 16-9. If that holds, that means that the Raiders are now within 1 game of Denver, and that if Kansas City defeats St. Louis, they also are within 1 game of the Denver Broncos in that race in the West. Eric Schubert, the new kicker for the Cardinals. And we are underway as Boyce Green returns to the 15 and is decked at the 18-yard line. In reality, he was decked by one of the Chiefs, ran into one of his own players. We'll take a setup of the Kansas City offense, and the quarterback is Bill Kenny. Boyce Green and Mike Pruitt, the running backs. Carlos Carson, sprained foot, not expected to play, so Marshall and Page are the wideouts, and Walt Arnold is at tight end. Eatman, Buddy, Donnelly, Addix, and Baldinger, that offensive line that's just getting better and better and better. First down, Kansas City at their own 18-yard line. And Kenny comes out throwing. Steps away from pressure, just dumps it off, and it is dropped. And that is Mike Pruitt, who was his escape valve. It'll be second down and 10. The ball still at the 18-yard line. Let's set up the defense now for the St. Louis Cardinals with Claspy, Galloway, and Baker, the front three. This will be their basic set. Freddie Joe Nunn. Monaco starting for E.J. Jr. This is the first NFL start for Ron Monaco, rookie free agent. Nico Noga and Charlie Baker. Carter, Mack, Smith, and Young in the secondary. For Carter on the left corner, this is his second NFL start. And this time it is Pruitt rushing the ball. And he moves to the 21. He'll pick up 3. It's going to be third down and about 7 yards to go as Claspy makes the tackle.
And Kansas City begins much as they did last week. Has to be some concern to them. They could not protect Bill Kenny very well the first time he went back to pass. And if you remember the game last week against the Denver Broncos, 2 touchdowns were set up by Bill Kenny being blindsided and fumbling the ball toward his own goal line.
Third down and 7. And a sparse crowd here at Busch Stadium this afternoon. Little jumping, flag down, free play for Kansas City. Pass is complete to Henry Marshall. He goes out at the 31-yard line. I believe that St. Louis was offside. May have been Al Baker who was jumping. They'll refuse the penalty and take the first down, of course. That will be the call. The referee is Red Cashin.
Offside, number 60 on the defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
Report in on that Denver Giant game with 2 minutes to go. The Giants continue to lead by a score of 16-9. And here the ball game just underway. No score, 13:58 left to go in the first quarter. 2 tight ends on the set for Kansas City. Their first down of the ball game, now at their own 31-yard line. Stephon Page in motion. And Boyce Green is the ball carrier. And Boyce moves for 3 yards to the 34. It'll be second down and 7.
An interesting note this afternoon for Kansas City is the fact that Carlos Carson, as you mentioned, will not be playing this afternoon because of an injury. That'll take away some of the options for Bill Kenny, because Carson is relied on in their scheme of things to stretch a defense vertically. They like the deep passing game with Carson, and so he'll have less choice as far as play selection is concerned. Stephon Page, a fine receiver, but one who's more of possession type, not able to run the deep patterns as well as Carlos Carson.
Carson really the only speed threat as a wide receiver. Second down and 7. it is Boyce Green. Green to the 36-yard line, so he picks up 2. It's going to be 3rd down and 5, and so Kansas City will have to come out throwing once again.
That's been the story for Kansas City for the last couple of seasons. Boyce Green getting the start the past few weeks because of Herman Hurd's trouble hanging on to the football. Hurd was thought to be the running back they were looking for in Kansas City, led the club the last 2 years in rushing, but fumble problems have put him on the bench, and it's Boyce Green's opportunity to try and pick up their rushing attack.
He fumbled once in the first San Diego game, once in Tampa Bay, only carried the ball twice instead. So the coaching staff does remember. Inside handoff that is barely made to Larry Moriarty to the 39-yard line. A gain of only 3, so it's going to be 4th down and 2 as David Galloway, the nose tackle, was there to close him down. And that means that Kansas City will be kicking. I'm surprised they ran.
I am too, but St. Louis's defense, if it can be called a strength, is the fact that they play against the pass very well. It's their rushing problems that against the rushes where they've had their problems. So maybe Kansas City is saying to themselves, we're going to go out and we're going to run the football even in some obvious passing situations.
Louis Colbert will be kicking by Sikahema. Outstanding return specialist for the Cardinals. Second in punt returns in the NFC, second in kickoff returns in the NFL. And this is a terrible kick that goes out of bounds at the Cardinal 35-yard line. We'll take a timeout. We have no score, and when we come back, the Cardinals will have the football. With 1 minute and 55 seconds left in the Meadowlands, Sammy Winder scored from 4 yards out, and the Denver Giant game is now tied at 16-16. Here we are tied 0-0, and Louis Colbert's punt 27 yards with no return. Offensively, for the St. Louis Cardinals, Neil Lomax returns to quarterback. He's been out for a couple of ball games. Stump Mitchell, Earl Farrell, the running backs. Farrell is injured, bad ankle. J.T. Smith, Roy Green, the wide receivers. Doug Marsh is the tight end. And St. Louis on offense for the first time. Sharp, Kennard, Chilton, Bostic, and Robbins at offensive line. Chilton the change at center. Robbins is starting a right tackle for Lance Smith. Green in motion. And the quick screen is through the hands of Roy Green. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 35-yard line. Albert Lewis would have picked up the coverage for Kansas City. The defense for Kansas City, basic set, Still, Moss, and Koch. And the 4 linebackers with Cooper, Hackett, Radisek, and Tim Cofield. Pair of rookies both playing very well. Excellent secondary with Lewis, Ross, Burris, and Cherry. 2nd down and 10, and we expect to see Lomax going to Roy Green. Stump Mitchell, the remaining back. Last week, in the New Orleans game, Stump carried the ball some 20 times. This is his first carry. Picks up 3 yards to the 38. It's going to be 3rd down and 7. Pete Koch makes the tackle for Kansas City. Very active last week with 10 tackles against the Denver Broncos. And here's a look at Stump Mitchell. He's a good one.
Yeah, he certainly is. He says he wants to carry the ball between 20 and 30 times. Has the opportunity because of the trade to Otis Anderson to the New York Giants several weeks ago. It is now Stump Mitchell's ball in the backfield. When they want to run the football, it's the Stump who gets the call.
And we have an injury timeout. And I believe that's Kennard. Yes, Derek Kennard, the offensive guard. And let's check the games in progress. The early games. 4th quarter, Denver the Giants, we've been talking about their tie. Green Bay, look at this. 4th quarter, leading Chicago by 1 in that rivalry. Woo-hoo-hoo. Hello, world. Cincinnati out in front of Minnesota by 4 in the 4th quarter. Pittsburgh and Cleveland tied 28-28. Now remember, Cleveland beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh earlier this year. First time they've ever done that at Three Rivers Stadium. And New England in front of Buffalo. That's a quick change because Buffalo was in front of New England just a moment ago.
Right, it was 19-15. They must have come back and scored a touchdown. Yeah. So a couple of surprising scores this afternoon already. And Houston defeating Indianapolis. The Colts, of course, still with their problems. And Detroit, as expected, over Tampa Bay. And here we are scoreless with 11-17. That is the time remaining in the first quarter. The injury to Kennard is something the Cardinals simply cannot afford. They've had so many problems with their offensive line. not only because of injuries, and they do have their share of injuries. Lance Smith is not playing today because of a problem, but also because they simply have not performed very well. Neil Lomax and Cliff Stout, the quarterbacks, have been running for their lives standing behind that offensive line.
So I believe that Randy Clark will come in at center, and Chilton will move from center over to guard. Lomax going deep out of the shotgun. Far side, it is tipped. It is no good. There's a flag down.
From the other angle, it appears as if there's some pushing going on down below with J.T. Smith from that, Troy Johnson, number 87.
Number 29 on the defense, first down.
Going to Troy Johnson, and Albert Lewis called for pass interference.
Kevin Ross was coming from the other side. The Kansas City defense blitzed a cornerback. I don't know if that's the right thing to do for a couple of reasons. You got Roy Green out there, who's terrific as a man-to-man receiver, and there's no reason to blitz against this St. Louis Cardinal offensive line. They haven't held anybody out all year long.
So a big play for the Cardinals with a first down at the Kansas City 35-yard line. J.T. Smith in the slot on the right side. There's a blitz coming, and Lomax will go down. Cooper got him, and that is going to be the first sack for Kansas City. Kansas City with 32 sacks on the year. And it'll be a loss of 6 back to the 41, second down and 16.
Well, they've got that strong set of very young linebackers. Dino Hackett, Scott Redisett, Tim Cofield, and Lewis Cooper there getting the sack from the outside on the blitz. Their linebacking crew coming into the season was the only question mark Kansas City had about their defense because of the youngsters Hackett and Cofield, but they've played much, much better than anyone would ever have hoped that they would.
Second down and 16. Farrell and Mitchell are the setback. And Roy Green comes in motion. And here is Stump Mitchell, and he is decked by Tim Cofield. They'll mark it at the 40-yard line, so he'll pick up a yard. It's going to be third down and 15. The injury report on Kennard, it is his left ankle, and the status is uncertain.
Neil Lomax back in after a 2-week hiatus, being lifted for Cliff Stout by Coach Gene Stallings. And you mentioned earlier when we began the broadcast that very possibly Gene Stallings is simply looking to evaluate talent. Maybe he sat down, just a theory, maybe he sat Neil Lomax down to find out exactly what kind of character he had. How does he react after being put on the bench for a couple of weeks? Well, we're going to find out this afternoon.
Lomax from the shotgun, pressure from Kansas City, and the pass over the middle is complete, and it is Troy Johnson. They're going to mark the play down at the 29-yard line. J.C. Pearson, the defender for Kansas City, he is the nickelback. Fifth man coming in when they expect to throw.
And what a catch by Troy Johnson. A 4.3 5.40. He can really fly. And so Kansas City's defense has got to worry about his deep speed. The Cardinals have had problems all year long with their wide receivers. Green was out because of an injury. Tilley is gone because of an injury. And there Troy Johnson, the free agent signed several weeks ago, comes up with a big catch to bail Lomax out and setting up this field goal attempt.
46 yards on the field goal attempt by Eric Schubert, and he does not make it. So Schubert, in replacing the injured John Lee, misses from 46 yards away. We've got a timeout, and we have no score between Kansas City and St. Louis. In the pregame show, NFL 86, Ahmad Rashad was talking to one of the NFL players that got fined for looking at the cheerleaders during the ball game. Ahmad made the statement that if that had happened when he was playing, he would have missed a couple of checks. And now you're seeing the reason why you would have missed a couple of paychecks.
That has to be the most unusual fine ever levied in the history of the National Football League.
Don't you love it? All right, no score here. Kansas City at their own 29-yard line with Green and Pruitt as the running backs. Kenny the quarterback. The Denver Giant game still tied. Boyce Green to the 31, maybe the 32-yard line. We'll give him a couple. Let's call it second down and 8. And the last report that we have from the Meadowlands is that the Giants are within field goal range.
And Raul Alegre, one of the many Giant kickers that will have an opportunity very possibly to win that football game. This may be a time for Kansas City to try to get their rushing attack healthy once again. As I mentioned earlier, the Cardinals secondary, second in pass defense in the NFC. That's because a lot of people are running against them and not throwing the football. They've got some holes to fill with their defensive line.
Paul Kaufman is in as a tight end. He's a good receiving tight end. And Kenny back to throw. As some pressure goes deep, far side, and it is over the head of Henry Marshall. So it'll be third down, and the official are going to mark it at the 32-yard line, so it is third down and 7.
Third and 7, 32.
The Cardinals, with the change of coaching staffs over the past year, went from a 4-3 to a 3-4. They take a look at Al Bubba Baker, and they're going to help out as much as possible. Not only does an offensive tackle have to help, but they also leave Pruitt in on that side for the particular purpose of helping against Bubba Baker. What he does and does exclusively is rush the passer. He's not that strong against the run.
Kinney fires over the middle. It is incomplete. He was going to Walt Arnold, the tight end, and Arnold was just crushed by Lionel Washington, number 48. And it will be fourth down and 7, and that means that Kansas City will be kicking. And Lewis Colbert, whose first kick was only, 27 yards, I believe.
And Lionel Washington with the big hit, he's someone that they have to keep and get healthy for the St. Louis Cardinal defense to be effective next season. He's recovering from a broken ankle sustained in 1985. A good man-to-man cover.
Isikahema, fair catch, good kick, and he takes it back at the 22-yard line. 46 yards on the kick by Colbert, and Sherman Cockcroft was down very quickly on the coverage. We've got a timeout. 7:42 left to go, first quarter. No score. With 6 seconds to go in the Giant-Denver game, Raul Alegre a 34-yard field goal. The Giants lead by 3. Denver out of timeout.
It'll be interesting to see how the Kansas City bench reacts when that is announced here to the stadium crowd at Busch Stadium. It does put them in the position to win today, go up one game, just behind one game of the Denver Broncos in the AFC West.
And tied with the Raiders just a game back. And here is Stump Mitchell. And Mitchell to the 25-yard line, so he's got a couple of yards from the 23 to the 25. Tim Cofield makes the tackle. It will be second down and 8. But now something is developing here, and we've seen this in a couple of games that we've had this year. The longer, let's check the 10-minute ticker. There's the Giants score by 3. Green Bay continues to lead Chicago by 1. Cincinnati by 4 over Minnesota. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, they look like they're headed towards overtime, and New England does defeat Buffalo. And Houston over Indianapolis, Detroit downs Tampa Bay. Here it is, no score, second and 8. Play action fake by Lomax. He goes far side, and the pass is incomplete. He was going to Doug Marsh, the tight end, and Lewis Cooper had the coverage, so it's going to be third down and 8 at the 25-yard line. In that Cleveland-Pittsburgh game, Gary Anderson tied it up with 7 seconds to go at 31-31. And so they are headed for overtime. So a lot of interesting things are going on.
Yeah, a few upsets already in the making. And here, St. Louis, the Cardinals would love to have one go up on the board against Kansas City as well.
They're down and 8. And the longer that the Cardinals can hold on to the ball, they've had the only scoring opportunity, missed on the field goal. And here's Lomax. And he has the first down out to the 40. 41, maybe the 42-yard line. 17 yards. The first down. Whitney Paul makes the tackle.
Lomax may be like a rookie out there this afternoon, despite having quite a bit of experience in the NFL, because he has something to prove to Gene Stallings and to the St. Louis crowd that's here. Benched 2 weeks ago in favor of Cliff Stout. There you see the Giant game now final 19-16 over the Denver Broncos, and so the Kansas City Chiefs do have an opportunity to pull back to within one game of the division-leading Broncos. The LA Raiders 8-4 are just one game back.
They mark the play down at the 40. This is the first down. It is juggled, pulled down, back-to-back first downs. This was J.T. Smith that pulled it in. And the Cardinals are on the move.
And there's someone who wants to have a fine game. Not only Neil Lomax, but J.T. Smith as well. Remember, he was released by the Kansas City Chiefs last year, picked up by the St. Louis Cardinals, and he makes a fine catch. One-handed grab. And that's just a little bit more adrenaline, Charlie, when he knows going against his former teammates, he wants to have the big game. You go the extra inch, the extra yard, and he gets it there and gets a block by Roy Green. Well, a missed block by Roy Green to pick up a few extra yards.
Lloyd Burris and Kevin Ross on the stop, and they'll mark it at the 44-yard line of Kansas City. I think I said the 38. It was the 44. And Lomax steps away and is being chased. And a comeback pattern on the far side is going to be incomplete, I believe, but there's a flag drop at the 24-yard line, and Deron Cherry is arguing with the official. So it may be holding in the secondary, because, Deron, you're going to lose that debate, I can tell you that. In the New England-Buffalo game, Tony Eason threw a touchdown pass with 1:20 to go to pull that one out, 22-19.
And that is important as far as the Kansas City Chiefs are concerned, because they are in competition with the Patriots for that wild card berth in the AFC.
There, of course, will be two, and right now the Raiders, Kansas City, I guess, in New England.
Interference. Number 20 on the defense. First down.
And there you saw Deron Cherry continuing his argument, just to put a little bit of an arm on the official, just to say, Mr. Official, I didn't do anything. And the official looked at him, don't you ever put a hand on me again. Deron Cherry, quite a fine young man. We spoke to him, of course, last week prior to the Bronco game, and a heady player.
It's interesting, though, very seldom do you see that particular penalty called that far away from where the pass is thrown. Usually they will call it defensive holding rather than pass interference.
Yeah, very much so. And the ball was nowhere near the area, as you said, unusual call in that respect.
But the ball is at the Kansas City 24-yard line. The Cardinals have a first down, and we have no score. And here is Stump Mitchell, and he is stopped. He is met by Tim Cofield right at the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be second down and 10. The ball at the Kansas City 24-yard line. We've got 5 minutes, 4 seconds. That is the time remaining in the first quarter on a very cool afternoon in St. Louis. And the temperature is dropping. And they said it was still Indian summer.
They had some cold summers there, wherever the
Indians
yes,
throw.
That's right.
It's second down. Lomax to throw. Far side, and it is incomplete. He's going to Roy Green. Albert Lewis picked him up. And it's third down and 10. And the ball at the 24-yard line of Kansas City.
Roy Green shut out last week for the first time in quite a long while. In fact, last week, not catching a pass for the first time in 74 football games dating back to 1982. So he is a little frustrated this afternoon. It's 28 degrees. It is cold.
I didn't realize. I'm sorry I found that out. I thought it was warmer than that. Lomax has completed 2 of 5 for 27 yards as Roy Green comes wide to the near side.
There you see the drop-off in Roy Green. He has had an ankle problem, had surgery earlier in the year, missed 4 games on injured reserve.
And we have jumping and flying.
Encroachment. Number 63 on the defense. Still first down.
The call on Bill Moss. And he took off. And when he went, then Albert Lewis went right with him.
Everybody's looking in at the ball. Bill Moss has the best view with the football than anybody in the stadium. Sometimes the center, when the nose tackle is staring down at the football, will squeeze the ball just a little bit. Not snap it, just squeeze it, and that gets the nose tackle to moving. Lewis on the outside sees his nose tackle move, and he moves right along with him.
And you saw the penalty yardage already, third down and 5. Kansas City 53 yards in penalties. Of course, 20 of that came on the pass interference call on Deron Cherry. Now from the shotgun, here's Lomax. Has time, and he hits Green. 5-yard line. First down and goal to go for St. Louis. Kevin Ross pulled him down along with Sherman Cockcroft. And Lomax looking good.
That combination of Lomax and Roy Green were simply magic back in 1984, but they had a couple of things going for them. One was Rod Dowhauer, then their offensive coordinator. That magic has been missing the last 2 seasons. Now Roy Green finally getting a catch for the first time in the past couple of weeks has got to have his confidence a little bit higher than it was coming in today. And Neil Lomax and the Cardinals are on the verge of saying, yeah, maybe we can win this football game. At least get on the scoreboard first.
First down, goal to go, 5-yard line. Green in motion. And Lomax throws, and it is incomplete. And he was throwing to Roy Green underneath the coverage, and Kevin Ross was picking him up. And it'll be second down goal to go. The ball at the 5-yard line.
A quarterback and a receiver will develop a rapport over a couple of seasons where they get the feel they know what the other guy is thinking. And so when someone like Neil Lomax drops back to pass, if he has any question in his mind and he has a debate where he should go, he'll look towards Roy Green. It always happens that way with a wide receiver and a running back. That's why politicking in the locker room for a wide receiver is very important. Take care of your quarterback.
Chicago with a 32-yard successful field goal by Butler they now lead Green Bay 12-10 with 2.5 to go in that ball game. That score just into us as Green with a little stutter step, and the pass is there. It is complete, and it is Roy Green with the touchdown. And the Cardinals have first blood. They put together a 77-yard drive in 11 plays. Eric Schubert to attempt the point after. Bernardo with the hold bad snap. And Kent Austin, the holder, who tried to scramble for anything. So we've got a timeout. St. Louis has the lead 6-0.
This is the new Linear View Writer. To type as fast on an electric typewriter, you'd have to type a lot faster. To make revisions as fast, you'd have to type even faster. So get a Linear View Writer even faster. Linear, we're easy to use.
Who are you calling? You've been on the phone forever.
The Air Express Company. They won't pick up the phone.
Hold it. If you'd called Federal Express, you wouldn't be having this problem. Come with me. You see, Federal has the most advanced communication system in the business.
I didn't know that.
And this lets us respond to calls in seconds and give you information quicker.
I didn't know that.
Next time, call Federal Express. Why fool around with anyone else?
I think I'll call Federal. Then maybe I'll get this stupid phone off my ear.
You know what Santa Claus and a quarterback have in common? We're only successful if our receivers are happy. So I take care of the hands, take care of me, with isotoner gloves. From the hefty running backs to the tall ends, isotoners fit them all. These guys, they love to get isotoners. The only time they receive something without getting knocked down. So this season, take care of the hands that take care of you with isotoner gloves.
Canon's new personal copiers come in 4 colors and copy in 5.
Red's your color.
And this replaceable cartridge makes them simple, even for you.
Lighten up, Jack.
They are light. Here.
What a guy.
For information, call toll-free 1-800-OK-Canon.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Steelers battle the Bears.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 86.
Let's take a look at the touchdown.
Now, Roy Green, as you saw him go across the formation, he was looking into the secondary. That's because Pearson, number 24, has got to cover him. He stuttered a little bit right behind the quarterback. That forced Pearson to stutter just a second, and Green had the angle to the corner of the end zone. That's how he beat him across. Now let's take a look at the extra point. It seemed to be a good snap, but Austin simply dropped it. A good snap by DiBernardo, forced to try to make something out of it. He throws the ball nowhere in the vicinity of the receiver.
On the return, here is Jeff Smith. And Smith returns to the 26-yard line where Kansas City will go to work. Let's take a look at the games in progress and the finals. The Giants winning, and their record now is 10-2. They stay atop the NFC East. Chicago still leading by 2, and that game is running out of time, and Cincinnati defeated Minnesota by 4. Pittsburgh and Cleveland are in overtime, and New England defeats Buffalo coming from behind in the last minute and 20 seconds of that ball game. Indianapolis loses to Houston, and Detroit defeats Tampa Bay. And here, St. Louis leads Kansas City by a score of 6-0, and the give is to Pruitt. And Pruitt is dropped at the 28-yard line. Gain of 2, it'll be second down and 8 as David Galloway made the tackle.
David Galloway has had to adjust, as well as the entire front four of the St. Louis Cardinal defense, because they did switch from that 4-3 to a 3-4. Mark Duda was a starting tackle in that front last year. He has been relegated to the bench. He was the odd man out when they went from the 4 to the 3.
Second down and 8. And to reiterate, of course, Denver losing. The record now is 9-3. The Raiders defeated San Diego in overtime Thursday night. Los Angeles just a game back at 8-4. If Kansas City wins this one, this is knocked away. Kenny catches his own pass. An attempt and a reception for the quarterback. And the tackle for Al Baker. And it'll be third down.
You see this happen once in a while. Not very often, though. Watch. He's looking downfield to find a receiver, but the big paw of David Galloway comes up, and you have to wonder whether he thought for a split second, should I just let it fall to the ground, or should I catch it and take the punishment?
Mark it for no gain. It's third down and 8. I think the reaction is that the ball's there, you just go for it, and then once you have it, you say, maybe I should have let it go. Paul Kaufman, a good receiving tight end, is in. Third down. From the shotgun. And the pass outside to Hurd, and he is dropped at the 31. Has 3. It'll be 4th and 5. Leonard Smith, the leading tackler, is the man who moves up and brings him down, and he's still playing with that soft cast as he has a broken bone in his hand. That's on the left side. You can see it. And the cast is underneath the glove, and Colbert will come in to kick. And Vi Sikahema is sent for the return. And the Cardinals are beginning to believe that they can pull off the upset. Pretty good kick. Taken at the 34-yard line by Sikahema. He reverses. He's to the 40. Ran into his own player at the 48-yard line. He ran into Anthony Bell, and then Sherman Colcroft got him for Kansas City. Almost broke it.
He had the shot. He nearly did. I think it seemed that the formation, the blocking pattern, was set to the left side, but he caught the ball so far to the numbers on the right, he thought he would take it that way. Now he realizes he can't go that way. He's got to reverse his field back to the left. He finds the wall, and, well, actually somebody did sneak in behind and make the tackle. It looked from this angle initially that he did fall over his own man. Sikahema, one of the only bright spots for the St. Louis Cardinals this season.
John Makovic, the head coach of Kansas City, for St. Louis, first down at their own 48-yard line. 35 yards on the kick and a 15-yard return. And play action, and the blitz comes from the outside. Kevin Ross with the second sack of the ball game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody saw him coming.
No, and that's the second time he came from that side. Kevin Ross came earlier. They were lucky to get the football away. Neil Lomax has been the most sacked quarterback in the NFL over the past 2.5 weeks.
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
139 sacks. Now with today, it's 141.
Right. That'll shorten somebody's career very quickly.
Yeah. He is beat up. I mean, that's a great point you bring up. That's a tremendous beating.
I think over a number of years, if that continues to happen, it's got to reduce the number of years he's able to play in this league.
2nd and 19. As protection, stands in, waits to the last moment, throws it. Didn't seem to bother him there. And it is pulled down by J.T. Smith. Kevin Ross with the tackle to the 45-yard line. He gets 6 of it back. Still going to be third down and 13. 35 seconds and counting as we're coming to the end of the first quarter. Gene Stallings, head coach of the St. Louis Cardinals. This is his first year. Their record is 2-9. It's been a frustrating year for Gene. And in overtime, Cleveland defeats Pittsburgh. Kozar, a 36-yard touchdown pass to Webster Slaughter. 8:23 mark in overtime. Goes deep, and it is almost caught. Troy Johnson with a great speed, showing leaping ability and good reaction, almost pulled it in. Ron Cherry was the cover man for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Troy Johnson, though, may not have been the receiver that Lomax intended. J.T. Smith, number 84, watch him crossing right behind. Was he throwing to 87, Troy Johnson, or was he throwing to 84, J.T. Smith? Doesn't matter, though. Johnson should have made the catch. It's a simple drop.
Peter, an excellent catch. Jeff Smith, fair catch, takes it at the 10-yard line. That's not a very good decision, is it?
No, you know, you never fair catch right at the 10-yard line unless absolutely, positively necessary.
Well, maybe it was. A 45-yard kick into the first quarter, and St. Louis leads it 6-0.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents Legends of the Game. The original Golden Boy, he made the transition from the sunshine of Southern California to the bright lights of New York. The Giants' versatile weapon scored a team record 78 career touchdowns and passed for 14 more. Who was this legend?
Families have come to us. They believe in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Our house is special to us, so we shopped around for homeowners insurance.
Liberty Mutual gave us the right protection at the right price. We believe in liberty.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Frank Everett's Giants record for total yards endures today. His talent ensured him recognition as a legend of the game.
When they said it was 28 degrees that I put on the cap and the scarf, I believe in being ready. Now, St. Louis is starting to believe in themselves. Is it a possibility? Can they pull off the upset?
Well, they can pull off the upset. We were seeing a lot of possible upsets here this afternoon. Green Bay and Chicago. Whatever thought that game would be that close, 12-10 late in the fourth quarter. Yeah, that's the problem for a team like Kansas City. You allow the Cardinals to believe they can win the football game early. When you're going in against a team that's a big underdog, you got to knock them out early. Score a couple of touchdowns quick, deflate whatever possible confidence they may have of winning coming into the football game.
And also, there's not a very big crowd here today. A lot of empty seats. But then the crowd, even a sparse crowd will get into it, and then you go to another level again.
That's true. They've had problems with attendance here in St. Louis for a number of years. And now with the record at 2-9, you can see not very many people here in the stands.
And the score is St. Louis 6 and Kansas City nothing. The statistics in the first quarter, the Cardinals with time of possession and everything leaning to their side, including the score, 6-0, as Kansas City goes to work now at their own 10-yard line. And Herman Hurd gets the call. And he is stopped by David Galloway. Finals now, the Giants defeating Denver, Chicago over Green Bay, and in the last few seconds of that ball game, Cincinnati over Minnesota by 4. What a close games today. Overtime, Cleveland defeating Pittsburgh, and New England coming from behind late in that ball game over Buffalo. 2nd and 10 at the 10. Give it a yard, maybe 2. Let's wait and see as they unpile. And we'll go back to the scores with Houston soundly defeating Indianapolis, as Detroit did the same to Tampa Bay 38-17. And the game's in progress. Washington quickly in front of Dallas by 14. Of course, they now know that the Giants have won that game, and the Rams in front of New Orleans by a score of 7-0. San Francisco 10-0 over Atlanta early, and Seattle out in front of Philadelphia 7-3. Third down and 8 at the 12-yard line. And Kenny back to throw. And the pass over the middle to the tight end, Walt Arnold. They mark it at the point of the reception, which is around the 22 or the 23-yard line, which will be enough for the first down. They'll spot it at the 23.
And that was vitally important for Kansas City to come up with that, because they were being backed up and not doing very much. Take a look at some of the action going on inside. Kenny looking off one side and coming back to his tight end over the middle of the field. It is important to get their tight ends involved in the offense. That's been a problem they've had over the past few weeks. Not getting to the tight end, most of the season. Now, eventually and finally, Arnold getting involved with the offense. It gives Kenny another receiver to throw to.
And this will go as an incomplete pass. As Kenny was in trouble, and he was just looking for somebody, and somebody couldn't hold on to it. Let's find out exactly what happened.
All right, so they go back to another tight end this time. Arnold to play before, now Jonathan Hayes. He's a release valve, actually. He was blocking on the play. When he saw his quarterback in trouble, he's able to release. But he gets to hang on to the football. Maybe better off at that point. It looked like it would have been a loss at any way. He was gang tackled by a host of St. Louis Cardinals.
And it is 2nd down and 10 at the 23-yard line. So the Chiefs beginning to sputter. As we have opened the action here in the second quarter, Larry Moriarty has just a yard to the 24, so it's going to be 3rd down and 9 as Leonard Smith, the strong safety, made the stop.
And they are beginning to sputter. Maybe they came into this contest thinking to try to get their running game going and help the anemic problems they've had back there with their rushing attack. But they've got to start throwing the football. That's the strength of Kansas City, and right now they are being shut down in many ways by the St. Louis Cardinals, surprisingly so.
3rd down and 9. Kenny back against a 4-man rush. And the pass is there, but I believe will come up shy of the 1st down as Jeff Smith came out of the backfield to pull it in. And it's going to be 3rd down. Wayne Smith made the tackle, and Lewis Colbert comes in. It's going to be 4th down and 2 at the 31. And Vi Sikahema, an excellent return man, is set to give the Cardinals pretty good field position. Lewis Colbert with the kick. And it is taken at the 32 to the 40 and pulled down at the 44-yard line by Lewis Cooper. And so St. Louis has the ball, and they have the lead 6-0 with 11:28 left to go. We're in the second quarter.
If I thought that no one cared about the things I do in life, well, I'd still care about working hard and making it turn out right. Made in America, that means a lot to me. Oh, I believe in America and American quality. Here's to you, America, my best I give to you.
Anheuser-Busch is the same personal commitment to quality that has kept our family of beers the finest in the world for over 100 years.
Here's to you, America, my best I give to you.
Somebody still cares about quality. Anheuser-Busch.
I am losing control. I have a TV remote, a cable remote, a VCR remote. Doesn't anybody make a TV with one remote control for everything?
Sure. Magnavox. This one comes with the universal remote. It controls the Magnavox TV and just about every brand of wireless, VCR, and cable.
A Magnavox controls Sony.
And Zenith, and RCA, and Panasonic, and...
I'll take the Magnavox, and you can take these.
The universal remote. It's 3 controls in one. Nobody puts it together like Magnavox.
Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Braun Electric Shaver. Braun designed to perform better. And by Magnavox, developing new technologies for your entertainment. Nobody puts it together like Magnavox. This is Charlie Jones along with Jimmy Cephalo with 11:28 left to go in the first half. And St. Louis in front of Kansas City, 6-0. The Cardinals, a touchdown pass from Neil Lomax to Roy Green from 5 yards out. A good snap on the extra point attempt, but Ken Austin, the holder, simply bobbled it, and so it is 6-0 as they never got the try off. And St. Louis has the ball at their own 45-yard line. Earl Farrell gets the call. Pete Koch is the man who stopped him.
And Bill Moss, the brother-in-law of Dolphin quarterback Dan Marino. The 2 All-Pros in the family there. Bill Moss, I would imagine, eventually will become an All-Pro. He simply manhandled in watching the game against Seattle a couple of weeks ago. He manhandled everybody that Seattle put in front of him, and he's been doing that to a lot of centers around the NFL this year.
Second down and 8. The ball at the 47-yard line. Green in motion. Lomax to throw. And it is incomplete. So it'll be third down and 8. Back at the 47-yard line. Green, the intended receiver. Ross with the coverage. And a reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game.
Kansas City's defense has been much improved over the past year. Walt Corey, their coordinator, has changed things up a little bit. They go to something what they call a bear defense, the 46 that was employed by Buddy Ryan last year with Chicago and now at Philadelphia. They play the same thing here.
Third down and 8. And it is there to Roy Green. And a first down at the Kansas City 42-yard line. So a pickup of 11 yards on the play. Pearson with the stop. Here's another look.
What Roy Green does so well is play man-to-man. You see he gets Ross going up the field. He gets open in the man-to-man pattern. There it was a complete zone, though. It shows his ability and his experience to work well against both man-to-man defenses and against the zone.
First and 10 at the 42-yard line. The Cardinals in Chiefs territory, and St. Louis leads 6-0. Here's the reverse to Roy Green, and it fails to full. A loss of 5 back to the 47 as Kevin Ross, the cornerback, had penetrated and just was laying in wait. Second and 15, second quarter. Washington has added a field goal, now in front of Dallas, 17-0, and the Rams lead New Orleans by 4, 7-3. San Francisco quickly out in front of Atlanta as the Falcons are faltering. And Seattle, boy, do they need a win. They lead Philadelphia 7-3. And Washington, of course, if they defeat Dallas, will be tied with the Giants with a identical 10-2 record. Second and 15. Lomax to throw far side. It is there. It is complete to J.T. Smith. Kevin Ross with the defensive coverage close to the first down. He may not have it. Yeah, go ahead.
He might not. Neil Lomax, really a confidence builder coming up for him. This is just a timing pattern. All Smith does is run 12 yards down the field and break out regardless of what he sees in front of him. For Lomax, a timing pattern as well. He'll take 5 steps, not even look to check if Smith is open. He simply has to throw it out there. Timing pattern, something you work on week in and week out. And that's when I talked about earlier, the political movement between wide receiver and quarterback. Throw me that timing pattern, quarterback.
You like to locker next to the quarterback if you're a receiver, right?
Always.
Oh, good defensive play, a fumble. Kansas City comes up with the football. Big turnover for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kevin Ross hurting a little bit on the field. Here you see him isolated on the corner. He reacts to what he sees, but he has blitzed already twice in this football game. There, the fumble occurred a little bit earlier. He was not blitzing on the play, but does have the presence of mind. Nobody touched him there, you see. He wasn't touched down at all, able to come up, and eventually seems to be shaken up a bit on the play.
And Jay Novacek is the man who made the tackle and may have saved a touchdown. We'll be back in just a moment.
Fords riding the streets and trails and roads, but carrying people and hauling loads. When tough men need tough trucks and goods not enough. America's truck is built for tough.
Here comes the new shape of Tough, the big Ford pickup for '87, with a new aerodynamic design, completely new interior, new anti-lock rear brakes, and a lineup of power choices that should keep it America's best-selling truck for the 10th straight year.
You can go to the good times or work in the rough. When you're talking Ford truck, then you're talking tough. Ford's #1 now, and we mean to stay by building them better in every way. When tough men need tough trucks and goods not enough. America's truck is built for tough.
today?
It sure is.
Let me borrow your notes, will you?
Hope you have your term paper finished.
Wait, I've forgotten which room it's in.
I hear it. This suspense is gonna kill you.
Keeping up with schoolwork isn't easy. That's why the computer more kids learn on is Apple.
Tonight, they had a job to do, but it wasn't the one their parents expected. Where Police Academy left off, a new semester begins. Combat High tonight.
Let's take another look, and you'll see what happened to Stump Mitchell.
Bill Moss was obscured by the center Chilton for St. Louis. You couldn't see him at the beginning, but he just obscures Stump Mitchell when he touches the football. That caused the fumble. Now, the report on Ross as far as that he got poked in the eye. They expect him to be fine, and we'll get a further report to you as soon as it's relayed to us up here.
Herman Hurd and Mike Pruitt are the running backs. First down for Kansas City at the St. Louis 46-yard line. Now they need to cash in on it. And it is knocked down. Good defensive play for Carl Carter. Henry Marshall, the intended receiver. Kenny is now 5 of 10 for 31 yards and no touchdowns.
And this is not an easy defense, apparently, to throw against. We thought coming in, the reason that they're not today, at least, their secondary's been playing fairly well, second in the NFC, and we thought that maybe it was because many teams were simply running against them, but thus far, they're making believers, at least onto the Kansas City passing game.
Second and 10 at the St. Louis 46. 8:55 left to go. Second quarter. Cardinals lead it 6-0. Kenny fires underneath the coverage. And St. Louis has the ball. David Galloway.
Some good hustle by David Galloway. Remember, he's the nose tackle. What's he doing halfway downfield picking up the football? Well, good fundamental tells you to react to the ball, go wherever it is, regardless if you're getting beaten up in the middle as he is. 65, the middle of your screen. The ball is thrown to Paul Kaufman. It's punched out when he gets hit, and there's Galloway looking like a fullback running down the right sideline. Finally pulled down by number 89, Henry Marshall.
So an exchange of turnovers, and St. Louis has the ball at their 40-yard line. Offensively, the center Ray Brown has replaced Kennard, who was injured earlier. Stump Mitchell gets the call, and he'll have a yard to the 41 where Tim Cofield stops him, and it'll be second down and 9 at the St. Louis 41-yard line.
With the problem that St. Louis has had with their offensive line, and now with the injuries, Lance Smith being out, as you mentioned, and Kennard with an injury earlier in the football game, their running attack has been non-existent here this afternoon, and Lomax, as we mentioned earlier, sacked more than any quarterback in the NFL. Look for them to go to a short passing game. For my book, that's the only way they're going to be able to complete the ball today against Kansas City with that patchwork offensive line.
Second down. Here comes the blitz from the outside. The pitch is to Mitchell. And the defense is there. Cooper making the tackle.
But that was all Lloyd Burris that time. He stepped up to the line of scrimmage, blitzed from the outside, beat a blocker, and made the play. Lloyd Burris, the most valuable player, is voted by his teammates a year ago. Lewis Cooper mopping up when Burris created quite a traffic problem inside.
Third down and 16. The ball back to the 34-yard line. Second and 8, and Kansas City was expecting the pass, and they had a blitz from the strong safety and ran into the running game. And he was in the right place at the right time.
Right into the run. And Lloyd Burris is the wrong man to run. He makes that Bear defense work, by the way. Moss and Lloyd Burris, along with Lewis Cooper, make that 46 defense work. And here it is now. That is the 46.
Max throws. It is pulled down by Earl Farrell. And Farrell will move to the 43-yard line. And it will be fourth down. As we pause briefly for station identification, this is the NBC television network. This is Charlie Jones, Jimmy Cephalo, with 6 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in the first half. St. Louis out in front of Kansas City by a score of 6-0. It is fourth down and 7, and the Cardinals will be kicking. Greg Cater is the punter. for St. Louis, and Jeff Smith set for the return for Kansas City. Good kick, really hangs it up. Fair catch is called for and taken at the 17-yard line. So the Chiefs will have the ball at their own 17-yard line, needing to get something going on offense. They have squandered a couple of opportunities. A 40-yard kick by Cater. Will be back.
It's time to change your light bulb. Philips Longer Life Square bulbs last 33% longer than ordinary round bulbs.
At Braun, we believe simple is better than complicated. Order is better than confusion. Quiet is better than loud. Only through superior design can one achieve superior performance. It is this philosophy that has helped make Braun the #1 selling foil shaver in the world. What's also helped is that no other shaver gives you a closer shave. Braun, now available in America.
The first look will move you with revealing shapes that reveal even more about the overall design. But there's an inner design that can only be felt when these cars are actually driven. This is Ford today. Designed to move you like never before.
This is the new Linear View Writer. To type as fast on an electric typewriter, you'd have to type a lot faster. To make revisions as fast, you'd have to type even faster. So get a Linear View Writer even faster. Linear, we're easy to use.
Thanksgiving Day, the NFL plays here when the Seahawks battle the Cowboys.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 86.
6 minutes and 18 seconds left to go in a surprising first half. It really has been dominated by St. Louis.
Surprisingly so. Kansas City's offense has been non-existent through the first quarter and a half. They, I would imagine, are going to start going to the passing attack because the rush just has not worked against this Cardinal defense.
Now, Kansas City, without the services of Carlos Carson, he's out with a sprained foot, and that really affects their passing attack. We'll be talking about that right after this play. No, they're going to stay on the ground. Here's Herman Hurd. Hurd to the 21-yard line, maybe the 22.
Hurd, the ball gunner. You're right, it does affect the passing game. Carlos Carson is the man who can run deep, the only deep threat actually from the wide receiver cores of the Kansas City Chiefs. And for that reason, without a deep threat, that allows the Cardinals to play some zone stuff underneath, maybe blitz a linebacker, because man-to-man is not as difficult when you don't have that burner to worry about on the outside. Changes the whole complexity of the game with Carlos Carson being out.
Second down and 5. And Kansas City continues to stay on the ground. Here's Mike Pruitt, and he's stopped by Al Baker at the 25-yard line. They'll pick up 3, so it's 3rd down and 2. Bob Claspy also there. Game's in progress. Washington continuing to shut out Dallas in the first half. 17-0. The Rams on top of New Orleans 7-3. We got a couple more. We'll get those get back to those in a moment. Kansas City at the 25, and here is Herman Hurd. A flag is down, and he breaks it to the 37 or the 38-yard line. It will be a first down if it stands up, but the penalty will go against Kansas City. So the Chiefs have been plagued by penalties.
And Herman Hurd getting back into the football game, as we mentioned earlier. Fumbles earlier in the season forced him to the sidelines, but now getting an opportunity here.
Holding, number 85 on the offense, still 3rd down.
Holding on Jonathan Hayes, 4th penalty against Kansas City for 63 yards in the first half. So take it back to the 14-yard line. We're going to mark it the 15-yard line, actually. And the Cardinals have not drawn a penalty. 3rd down and 12. It's almost as if Kansas City only throws the ball when they're forced to throw the ball.
Which is very uncharacteristic of their offense.
Getting back. Here's Green on a little delayed screen. Now, if he was behind and they ruled a lateral, it's a backward pass and a touchdown for St. Louis.
David Galloway with the dance. That's the second time he's touched the football this afternoon. Maybe he danced too early. The officials are having a conference in the corner.
Well, one of the reasons they're having the conference, I'm sure that they want to give the replay official time to take another look.
But they did signal touchdown initially.
Now, remember, a backward pass cannot be advanced unless you pick it off in the air. A fumble can, but a backward pass cannot. If it's ruled a backward pass or a lateral, it can only be recovered but not advanced.
But where does he recover it is the question.
Right there.
It cannot be advanced. It's first down and goal from the 6-yard line.
That's right.
And you go to the head of the class. Exactly. He picked it up about the 3-yard line, so that's where it has to stay. David Galloway a little disappointed. I was shocked.
I thought I had the score. But for Galloway, that is his second fumble recovery. They're going to mark that he had possession, I believe, at the 6-yard line. And it's wherever he first had possession of the ball. Maybe we can take another look. But I thought it was a little inside of that spot. And that is, of course, something the replay official, could pick up and also tell them on. But St. Louis now with a big opportunity at the 6-yard line of Kansas City, where it is first down and goal to go. Lomax with Mitchell and Farrell as the running backs behind him. Here's Stump Mitchell. And he goes to the 4. And it'll be second down and goal to go as Eric Holly makes the tackle. Jay Novak will be coming in and Ron Wolfley will be coming in to the offense for St. Louis. Dean Stallings, the head coach of the Cardinals.
Kevin Ross, we mentioned earlier with that poke in the eye and on a fumble recovery, has got some swelling in the eye. They're going to hold him out a little while longer to further examine him.
Second down, goal to go. 4-yard line. Showing the power backfield. And here is Farrell. And Farrell is pulled down, maybe a yard to the 3. It's going to be third down and goal to go.
And obviously the most important play of the game thus far coming up, because it's in confidence. It's not just in the score of the game, but the confidence level of the St. Louis Cardinals. If they score here and they go up by 13 points, do they think then, yeah, of course we can win this football game?
Pete Koch making the last stop for Kansas City. And now if you have to throw the ball, you go to a timing pattern. You go to J.T. Smith in the far left corner.
Or you go to Roy Green underneath.
Green, a timing pattern, he cut it off, he came underneath, and the pass was towards the corner.
Well, that's a very common mistake executed by both a wide receiver and a quarterback that close to the goal line. For this reason, there's a defensive back, that's a timing pattern. The defensive back, you see the cornerback down here, this part of your screen, Loa, he was a yard or two off of Green, and the question is for a wide receiver and a cornerback, if the cornerback is a yard or two off the ball, then I'm going to run that quick out pattern. If he's up in the line of scrimmage, I'm going to run the quick timing pattern to the corner of the end zone. And it seemed that the cornerback was in an intermediate position. And because of that, Albert Lewis caused that. They weren't sure about whether they should go for either the quick throw over the top or the quick out, as the field goal is through and good.
From 21 yards away, Eric Schubert has the field goal, and the Cardinals now lead by a score of 9-0. And so, in reality, going back to the missed touchdown opportunity, was it Lomax's fault? Should he have waited in and to see which way Green's going, or is there time?
No, simply miscommunication. There's no time. He's got to take 3 steps and throw the football. Albert Lewis, 2 steps off the line of scrimmage. Green decides, well, he's off the ball, right? 2 yards away. That means I run the quick out. It's an easier pattern for me to run. Lomax steps up and says, well, he's kind of close to him. I guess he's going to stay with the quick pass to the corner of the end zone. And when you step back and have to release the ball that quick, there's no chance to pull it back and decide, well, is he going to run the out or is he going to run the up?
Go ahead.
Common mistake, though, among the NFL.
And don't forget, it was David Galloway who set it all up with the recovery of the backward pass. And so now Kansas City down 9-0. Be sure to stay with us at halftime for all the scores and highlights and the standings around the league as things are constantly changing. Jeff Smith in the middle with Moriarty and Green on the corners, and Eric Schubert to kick off for St. Louis. 2:58 left to go in the second quarter. It is high and short, and Moriarty takes it at the 13 out to the 20. And Larry returns it to the 29, maybe the 30-yard line. So he'll have a nice return of about 22 yards on the play, as Don Holmes makes the tackle for St. Louis.
The Kansas City, again, for their confidence level with just 2:50 left in the first half, they've got to get some kind of a drive going here. They are really being dismantled by the St. Louis Cardinal defense.
And by the way, Washington is dismantling Dallas. They now lead them 20-0 with 6 minutes to go in the first half of that ball game. First down, Kansas City. Kenny, a little play action fake, and he is sacked. Al Baker got him, and that is the 28th sack on the year for the Cardinals, and their first of the ball game.
And the 5th by Al Bubba Baker. As I mentioned earlier, that's what he does. He's a pass rusher, does not play the run very well. Teams do not like to get into a situation where they've got to throw the ball, because Al Baker just lays back and gives it his all.
There was a chance to look at the scores and the time, and it is St. Louis 9, Kansas City nothing. Second down and 20, the ball at the 19-yard line. Herman Hurd and Mike Truitt. They back the block, and he goes deep, and the receiver falls down. That was Stephon Page, who fell when he made his cut to the outside, and it's going to be third down and 20 at the Kansas City 19.
And frustration written all over the face of Bill Kenny. He's really starting to get flustered by it. He had mentioned last week that he was healthier at this time of the season than ever before because he had not been playing. Todd Blackledge had been the starter for the first 7 or 8 games of the season. But Kenny took a beating last week against Denver. He was on his back several times, blindsided, a hip injury late in the football game.
Shoulder injury, hip injury, right elbow, and he lost to 2. His daughter thought that was great. She said she had lost 3. Yeah, he was beat up there. Has pressure, and he is sacked again, and Baker gets him. So 2 sacks for the Cardinals, and both in this defensive stand.
Well, that's what Bubba Baker does. They know he has to pass. There he is, number 60 down the bottom, going against Irv Eatman, and he runs Eatman upfield and then slaps and comes underneath. That's the greatest thing that Baker does. He's got that amazing speed and quickness. Not the strongest of players, but a lot of speed and quickness. And for an offensive tackle, they try to overcompensate by taking away the outside on his rush. He has the ability and the agility to slip inside, as he did there, to get his second sack of the series.
And Louis Colbert will be kicking to Vai Sikahema. And the 2-minute warning will be given to both benches. We've got a timeout. The Cardinals have the lead. We'll be back in a moment.
It's in the look. It's in the feel. It's in the wind. Thunderbird has changed. This is the new design. This is the new Thunderbird.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
We're NCI. To score points with you, we must choose our communications weapons carefully. That's why we compete with products like Prism, the ultimate concept in watts. For maximum flexibility as your monthly call patterns change. We know our competition's good. We know we have to be better. And because we compete, you win. MCI. Communications for the next 100 years.
All good horse traders know horses. The best ones know cowboys, too.
He needs a little work, but the price is firm. He's worth it. but I'm a little short. Just pay me half now, and if I don't hear from you, he knows the way home.
Bush. Head for the beer brewed natural as a mountain stream, for a taste as smooth as its name.
Bush.
Head for Bush beer.
Head for the mountains.
This fall, NBC Sports has a November to remember when heart-pounding excitement returns to the greens, where one putt could be worth $450,000. Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Lee Trevino, and Fuzzy Zeller play the Skins Game. It's a November to remember on NBC.
For St. Louis, Stump Mitchell has been held only 4 yards rushing and 8 carries. I have some more Cardinal statistics, but first things first is Colbert will be kicking to Vi Sikahema. Vi is moving up. He doesn't expect him to get it to the 50-yard line. And pressure, good kick. And Sikahema has to backpedal back to the 36-yard line. He's to the 40, the 45, and down at the 46-yard line, but an excellent kick by Lewis Colbert. Scott Radisek made the tackle, 47 yards on the punt.
And that's unusual for a punt return man. It's always easier to run up and catch a punt than to run back and catch a punt, because you have it in your vision the entire time when you're running up toward the ball and the line of scrimmage. But you've got to stop, turn around, and run back to a spot, then locate the ball again. It makes it a tougher catch. Plus, as you're running up, when he catches, you're on the move going toward the other way and making some yardage. When you're going backwards, you've got to readjust and start from a dead stop after you've caught the football.
Neil Lomax has completed 8 of 15 for 85 yards and a touchdown. Roy Green, 3 receptions, 29 yards, and the touchdown. Stump Mitchell, 8 carries, only 4 yards rushing. This is Earl Farrell. Farrell takes it at the 50, goes to the 49 of Kansas City. So it's a gain of 4, 2nd and 6. J.C. Pearson makes the tackle. Hurry up offense. And here is Stump. Mitchell shakes a couple of tacklers. He has the first down, goes to the 42-yard line. He has 8 yards on the play. Lathrop makes the tackle for Kansas City.
And as many yards on that play as he's had the entire rest of the game before. Only 8 yards on 4 carries coming into it.
The Achievers, those who faced adversity and refused to fail, sponsored by the U.S. Army. The Giants' Jerome Sally wasn't a big star at Missouri.
I never was one of those big-name ball players.
The scouts didn't rate this linebacker worthy of a draft choice. They didn't measure determination and pride.
I always tell myself, hey, you just as good as the next guy. They put their uniform on the same way you do.
A graduate engineer, Jerome Sally, has drawn a blueprint for success.
A lot of hard work, determination, and going with an organization that believes in you.
A Ranger never takes the easy way out.
You're reaching deep inside you for things you've never known.
Go! That's why getting into the Rangers is tough, and the training is tough.
Be all that you can be.
So it makes me feel like I'm part of something really special.
Be all that you can be.
And I'm not the only one.
Find your future in the Army.
With 1:20, Kansas City has 3 timeouts remaining. St. Louis has 2 timeouts remaining. And St. Louis has the ball just outside the Kansas City 41-yard line with a first down. And the return of Neil Lomax after being out for the last 2 weeks. Fitz Stout has been the quarterback for St. Louis, not because of an injury. He was just playing poorly, and this man, Gene Stallings, head coach, set him down for a couple of weeks. He's looked pretty good.
He has looked very good, and as we mentioned earlier, maybe Gene Stallings was saying, let's check on that character, and so far Neil Lomax has responded well to it.
And here comes the blitz. The pass is intercepted. Kansas City has the ball. Green, the intended receiver, was that Deron Cherry? Yes, who picked off the interception. With a diving interception for Deron Cherry. That is his 5th of the year.
And a mistake on the part of Green, it seemed. He does break his pattern off, though. He saw the blitz coming from the inside. His job is to break the pattern out. I take that back. Let's not blame that on Roy Green. Let's blame that back on Neil Lomax. What happens there when he sees a man covering him, blitz the quarterback? He breaks the pattern off as he did with the quick out. But Lomax, under great pressure, did not get it out to him. And Deron Cherry with his 27th career interception.
And Kansas City has the ball at their own 39-yard line, first down. 1:14 left in the first half, and they have 3 timeouts. And they need to get something going. Wobbly high and almost intercepted back. Carl Carter had his hands on it. Kenny is down. And Kansas City will take a full timeout. This is not an injury timeout. It's a full timeout. And it will be second down back at the Chiefs' 39-yard line. And we'll be back in just a minute.
Okay, guys, tomorrow's game day. When I say coverage, I mean every yard of that field. Mow them down, right down to the last stripe of that end zone. Are you with me? Yeah! Okay, roll them out!
He's George Toma, head groundsman for the Kansas City Chiefs and special field consultant to the NFL covering all Super Bowls. Thousands see his work every week on national TV, but few know of his commitment to helping children in his community. Here at the Crippled Children's Nursery School, George works for a different kind of victory as a United Way volunteer.
That's my Super Bowl, is to see those kids smile. The victory, I think, to everybody, is the United Way. This is what we mean when we say, thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Now, the reason that Kansas City took the full timeout is Bill Kenny did not want to come out of the ballgame.
Right.
If it was an injury timeout, he'd have to come out for a play.
And it seemed he was pointing to his tongue. He showed that
I think he bit his tongue.
That's what it appeared to be from up here. He may have trouble yelling the signals out at that point.
Lost the tooth last week, bites his tongue this week. Inside handoff, it is there, boys. Green. And Green close to the first down. It was second down and 10. Clock moving 1 minute to go. And, of course, that's plenty of time. David Galloway makes the tackle. That is the time remaining in the first half. St. Louis up by a score of 9-0.
And they've got to get the first down on this play. Third and just about a yard to go.
Good point. And there it is. They do have the first down. Boys Green. Now they'll call the timeout. And that means they have only 1 timeout remaining. And they will want to save that, if possible, for a field goal attempt.
Yeah, with 44 seconds to go, they have to save the final timeout or they'll never get their field goal team on the field. So what that does, it changes their strategy. Their patterns have got to be run either to the sideline or through the end zone. Nothing in the middle of the field here will work.
Washington just running away from Dallas. Look at that, 27-0 in the second quarter. And the Rams still in front of New Orleans by a score of 7-3. San Francisco comfortably in front of Atlanta in the second. And Philadelphia creeping up on the Seahawks. It's now a 7-6 ball game. They are in the second period. And don't forget, at halftime, NFL 86 scores and highlights with Bob, Ahmad, and Paul. And by the way, there's a feature that you'll see at halftime. You know about Napoleon McCallum was playing for the Raiders? Well, Eddie Myers, who is a Marine at Camp Pendleton, was a member of the Atlanta Falcons, but the Marines said no. The Navy said yes. Bob Costas talked to both of the men. It'll make an interesting halftime feature.
Yeah, I'd like to see that myself. There you saw.
Well, I'll get a tape of it and send it to you.
Okay, there you go. Lowry,
made that up.
Lowry and Gobert, they were not praying to a porcelain god over there. That was a heater on the sideline trying to keep their feet warm.
A porcelain god?
I don't know what else to call it.
I don't know. We could use a couple more here. It's cold. It's in the 20s. Shotgun. Kenny throws, and the pass is complete to Henry Marshall, and he is dropped by Carter. And I kind of thought Carter got there for the ball, but he held on to it, and play just keeps moving right along. 29 seconds and counting. They're pretty well within the field goal range, though, of Nick Lowry. Remember, he can go long distance, and it is overthrown, and it is intercepted. It will be a touchback. Cedric Mack intercepts it. His momentum is going to take him into the end zone. They're going to rule that he made the interception. They signal a touchback, and they're bringing it out to the 20-yard line. Let's take another look.
And Kenny just overthrows the wide receiver. The important part about this play, one, is that, of course, shuts Kansas City out of the scoreboard in the first half. The other thing is it may keep the St. Louis Cardinals out of the record books. That's just their 5th interception all year long, and they are in danger of catching a host of other teams who had 6 interceptions through this schedule. An embarrassing note for Gene Stallings, whose specialty is coaching defensive backs.
Now, it is interesting because he makes the interception. I thought he had possession about the 1-yard line, didn't went in. If he does, then they bring it out to spot of the interception, the one they're saying. Officials are ruling he did not have possession until he was in the end zone. Now, the delay right here, I think, is for the replay officials to go back and take a look because his momentum took him into the end zone. Now, if he had possession at the 1-yard line, the spot of the interception is where it should be played.
And the reason that's important is because if they do mark it down at the 1-yard line, just 18 seconds left of the contest, they've got to move the football forward to make sure they don't get the safety. Here at the 20, Lomax can just take it and sit down on one knee and let the clock run out.
Now, that's why the delay here. The replay officials are looking at their replay machines at the replay of the interception to see where the ball is. Should it be spotted there, or should it be brought out to the 20-yard line? All depends on where he had possession. His momentum, it's not a problem of the safety. The momentum taking him into the end zone. It's where he caught it.
And that's a change from this year, as you mentioned before.
Yeah, see to the 1-yard line.
Yeah, review by the replay official. The play stands. It's a touchback. First down and 10.
Well, once again, the replay official is incorrect.
You don't agree with it.
I don't agree with him. Well, that's what the rule is. The rule.
All right, that was so close, though. You know, it appeared there that I myself, I am not a big fan of replay officials. You know that, not of the official, but the system. But there, I've got to say, it was close enough that I would not be offended of them putting the ball at the 20-yard line. Remember, it's not just when he touches the ball; it's when he actually gains full possession of it. And maybe sometime before this game is over, we'll get a chance to look at it. And I can't believe I'm defending the replay system, but in that case, I am.
It's an all-time first. Well, we worked our way to halftime. And St. Louis is in front of Kansas City by a score of 9-0. And that means that NFL 86 activities, our halftime activities, will continue in a moment. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Since not everyone stays up for late night, David Letterman's second annual Holiday Film Festival is playing in prime time.
It's called A Television Miracle. That's right.
Starring Michael J. Fox, Terry Garr, Diane Sawyer, Jonathan Winters, and more. It's David Letterman's second annual Holiday Film Festival.
We're going to have a bitchin' party, guys.
Hi, I'm Rod Lewis. I promised Toyota Motor Company I would sell 60 more new Toyotas before the end of November. A promise is a promise. So I'm making the best deals I've ever made. 6 of the top 10 most reliable cars made are Toyotas. You may be looking at yours right now, because if you're ready to buy, I'm ready to sell. We're open evenings, I'll discount, give good trade allowances, or whatever it takes. I've got to sell 60 more cars, trucks, and vans before the 30th. So now's the time to buy. Come to Lewis Toyota, 2525 North Topeka.
When business got tough, Jim Moore had to let go an employee, a friend. But with a stubborn belief,
I think you know I didn't...
a great service. And by keeping his ad in the one yellow pages he knew people used.
Welcome back, Ed.
Today, things look a lot brighter.
It's work today.
The one and only Southwestern Bell Yellow Pages. It's the best partner a business ever had.
KSNT, TV 27, Topeka, Kansas.
Bob Costas back in New York. Let's run through the scores for you. The Redskins are pummeling the Cowboys at RFK 27-0. Kelvin Bryant and George Rogers both have touchdown runs. Jay Schrader, a 71-yarder to Clint Didier for another Redskins score. They have stopped the Cowboy offense cold, and apparently they will stay tied at 10-2 with the Giants atop the NFC East. The Rams, late in the second quarter at home, leading New Orleans 10-3, despite the fact that Jim Everett has been intercepted twice by the Saints. Eric Dickerson already has 62 yards rushing and a touchdown. San Francisco pounding the slumping Falcons at Candlestick 20-0. Don Griffin, a 76-yard punt return for a score. Joe Montana, a 3-yard pass to Jerry Rice for another one. In the game you're watching, the Cardinals get a touchdown pass, Lomax to Green, though they missed the point after. The former Giant Eric Schubert kicked a 20-yard field goal, and they blanked the Chiefs Chiefs 9-0 through the first half. Seattle just got a Terry Taylor block of a punt by the Eagles, and Taylor picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown seconds ago. A 14-6 lead late in the second quarter at the Kingdome. Earlier, David Craig threw 72 yards to Darrell Turner for their first touchdown. This afternoon at the Meadowlands, the Giants went to 10-2, 19-16 over the Broncos, and before Raul Alegre's fourth field goal of the day with 10 seconds to go won it, this was the big play. Denver led 6-3 in the second quarter. Elway tries to flip into the right flat, and there's the veteran lineman George Martin making a great play. Fakes a lateral to Taylor, decides to keep it, sheds Elway, jumps over Sammy Winder, who tries to tackle him. Good block there as well to get him out of the way, and then he goes 78 yards for his 7th career touchdown, 6 of them as a lineman. He also caught a pass on one play, but 6 touchdowns as a defensive lineman is a league record. Let's turn to Ahmad Rashad. You profiled the Giant defense on the pregame show, and they just about stopped Denver cold today.
They really did, Bob. I mentioned that they were one of the most feared and respected defenses in the league, and they proved that today by holding that high-powered Denver offense to 16 points. But I think even more important is the way they won the game. The last 2 weeks, they've come from behind, and I think that's a tremendous confidence builder going into the playoff situation. And I'd like to say congratulations to George Martin, a former Fighting Duck from the University of Oregon, who had a great game today.
So the bloodlines are excellent,
That's right, that's right.
Okay. Now, if Kansas City beats the Cardinals, they'll have to rally to do it. Kansas City and the Raiders would each be only 1 game back of Denver in the AFC West. The key here is Kansas City has a game at home remaining with Denver before the season is over. Denver has already swept the season series head-to-head with the Raiders. The Bears beat Green Bay today 12-10 on a late field goal by Kevin Butler. Let's take a look at some of the action from this one. Jim McMahon had a miserable first half, intercepted twice, completed only 6 of 20. This is one of the interceptions by Mark Lee, but watch what happens on the same play. This will be Charles Martin, who well after the play has concluded, throws McMahon down, and he is ejected from the game as a result. A little bit later, Sean Gale will block this attempted punt by Don Bracken of the Packers into the end zone. Dennis Gentry recovers for a touchdown and a 9-0 lead. After the Packers rallied to go in front 10-9, the Kevin Butler field goal won it late in the game for the Bears, who are now 10-2. The Bengals are 8-4, winning at home over Minnesota 24-20. But Cleveland stays tied with them atop the AFC Central. They win in overtime 37-31. Let's listen to the clincher called by Don Criqui.
Audible. 1st and 10. Kosar, long ball. It's going to go for a touchdown. The game's over. Webster Slaughter.
So the Bengals and Browns are tied. They meet in week 15 of the 16-game season in Cincinnati. Perhaps the division title will be at stake. But the key is, of the remaining games, the Browns have a much easier remaining schedule than do the Bengals. So Cleveland 37, Pittsburgh 31. Paul?
Bobby, isn't it amazing what happens to a quarterback like Kosar? Now, last year, the Cleveland Browns had 2 running backs that got over 1,000 yards. All of a sudden, Cleveland goes out, they find a couple of wide receivers, takes the pressure off the running backs and off of Ozzie Newsome, who now is starting to catch the ball because they have some wide receivers. It makes for a great quarterback. I think Kosar is, if he has the protection, or keeps the protection he's getting, he's going to be someone to reckon with, because the man obviously can throw the football, and he's very young.
Let's check the rest of the scores. The guys from your hometown, Buffalo, have now lost 22 consecutive road games, 1 shy of the record for futility, 23 straight road losses by the Oilers a couple of years ago. 22-19 is the final at New England. At one time, the Pats led 15-0. The Bills came back, led 19-15 briefly before Eason threw to Greg Beatty, the rookie from Stanford, 13 yards late in the game to pull it out for the Pats. Houston goes to 3-9. The Colts are 0-12. It was 31-3 before the Colts scored 2 touchdowns in the last minute as a consolation prize. 31-17 the final. Warren Moon throws for 3 touchdowns for the Oilers, and so the Colts are still in line to draft Vinny Testaverde. Whether or not he wants to play for them is another question. Testaverde, the almost certain winner of the Heisman, will be our guest on the pregame show next Sunday on NFL 86. And Detroit won at Tampa Bay today 38-17. Joe Ferguson threw a couple of touchdown passes for the Lions. Late in the game, he stepped aside. In came Chuck Long, the rookie out of Iowa, and on his first ever NFL pass attempt, he threw for a score to Leonard Thompson. The second half between the Chiefs and Cardinals coming up right after these messages from your local station. Stay with us.
He is the victim.
You're under arrest from her.
She is the accused.
You don't have an alibi.
Matlock is the lawyer.
I am
trying to save your life.
Then you are the jury.
Did the young boy kill his girlfriend?
You did.
I didn't do it.
You killed her, Jimmy! Objection! You murdered her! You decide.
You are the jury in Matlock, Tuesday.
Buying a used car? Think about it. Think selection. Think reputation. Think Bill Kobach, the guy that sells Buicks at Ford and Chevy prices. That means a great selection of Fords, Chevys, Chrysler cars, and Buicks too, of course. Good cars you can depend on, from the dealer you can depend on. Bill Kobach, your 2-block-long, one-stop place to shop for Buick, Isuzu, and GMC trucks with a super selection of used cars at 2044 South Topeka.
Welcome back to NFL 86. You know, playing ball at one of the service academies has never been the most direct route to the pros. For example, Roger Staubach won the Heisman in 1963, graduated from the Naval Academy a year later, and didn't begin his Hall of Fame NFL career with the Cowboys until 1969. That's the way it's been until now.
Ensign McCallum, U.S. Navy, reporting for duty.
Reporting to both the Navy and the Los Angeles Raiders, Naval Academy graduate Napoleon McCallum holds down 2 full-time jobs these days. The Navy has relaxed a long-standing tradition by allowing him to play professionally while still completing his 5-year military obligation. And they've conveniently stationed him aboard the USS Peleliu at Long Beach Naval Shipyard, just a half hour from the Raiders practice site.
You know, when I walk into the locker room, you know, I'm in uniform and everybody will go, a 10 hut, you know, or here comes our weekend warrior. And, you know, Nap just flew in on his helicopter. A lot of, you know, kidding like that. But pretty much they respect what I'm doing, and they feel for me, and they wonder how I can keep doing what I'm doing.
What he's doing is waking up at 4:20 each morning and then going to work as a food service officer aboard the Peleliu. Now, McCallum realizes that had he been unencumbered by his military obligation, he could have been a first-round NFL draft choice. As it was, the Raiders were smart enough to take a chance on him in the 4th round. He's a reserve running back and dangerous kick return man. And the irony isn't lost on McCallum, working for 2 organizations with distinctly different images.
That's what the Raiders do. They play rough, tough football. We're aggressive. And I think I can fit that mold, you know, on Sundays and still come back on Mondays and be the officer and the gentleman that I'm supposed to be.
But the critics say McCallum is not exactly what he was supposed to be upon graduation from the Naval Academy. After all of these past Service Academy stars fulfilled their military obligations before ever moving on to the pros, where they performed with varying degrees of success. They all knew they were giving up precious pro seasons, but they all knew the rules as well. The price of a free military education: serve now, play later.
Well, the Academy certainly is not here to produce professional athletes. The Academy is here to produce professional naval officers.
We just don't believe that the taxpayer should be subsidizing us training professional football players.
On the other hand, you can argue that having an appealing young man like McCallum performing in the NFL is excellent PR for the Navy, a great recruiting tool, and besides, says Napoleon, he's doing both jobs.
A lot of people thought, you know, I'm wasting the taxpayers' money. I should be serving the Navy. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm serving the Navy.
About 90 minutes down the road at Camp Pendleton, we find Marine Captain Eddie Myers. In 1981, while playing for the Naval Academy, Eddie Myers was the nation's 5th leading rusher behind names like Marcus Allen and Herschel Walker. In fact, Eddie held most of the Naval Academy rushing records eventually broken by Napoleon McCallum. Now, for the past 4 years, while stationed here at Camp Pendleton, Eddie Myers has lodged 4 separate requests for a change of duties, which would allow him to play with the Atlanta Falcons while still fulfilling his military obligations. All 4 requests, including his most recent appeal to the Secretary of the Navy, have been denied.
I was not at any one point in time trying to get out of my military commitment. All I've ever requested was to either alter it, so I would either do it after my football career or serve it concurrently if that was possible.
But the Marines have told him repeatedly there are no appropriate military positions available for him in Atlanta. So Eddie Myers continues to dream, work out on his own, use his leaves to visit the Falcon camp in the summer, and argue his case.
I felt that the Marine Corps and the Naval Service as a whole, the Naval Academy, would have benefited greatly from my playing in Atlanta. I think that would have been a great benefit towards the assistance of recruiting, just to show fellow Marines that that you can be in the Marine Corps, be a Marine Corps officer, be enlisted in the Marine Corps, and still pursue, if you have a special talent in one aspect or the other, still be able to pursue that talent.
Eddie Myers is proud of being a Marine, and his superiors will tell you he has served well. But still, when his obligation ends a year from now, he plans to take a crack at the NFL at age 28. Myers and McCallum are friendly, by the way, and certainly Eddie feels no resentment toward Napoleon. But what he views as an inconsistency does gnaw at him, and a question arises. Is McCallum merely a lone exception, or has some sort of precedent been established here? A precedent that might affect the future of the Naval Academy's All-American Basketball Center, David Robinson. A certain early first-round NBA pick this year, were he free to play. Interestingly, Robinson might be an exception for a different reason. His very height disqualifies him for duty aboard ship or in the air. He's 7 feet tall. Although the Navy could require him to work in public affairs or intelligence, some area like that. Robinson, by the way, scored 36 points yesterday as Navy was beaten by North Carolina State, 86-84. NFL 86 halftime activities will continue in a moment. Stay with us.
Welcome back to St. Louis here at halftime. The Cardinals in front of Kansas City by a score of 9-0 during half. You know, we had a couple of plays in the first half that the replay official was involved in. We talked to Fred Silva during halftime. He was very thrilled that we were talking about it. And he said, you know, we were right on the one, and he disagreed with us on the other. He said, you guys were wrong on the other.
No. I agreed with him on the other one. When the interception went into the end zone, he said he took another step, and the player had the ball when he was into the end zone, so it goes back out to the 20. Interesting note, though, on the other play down the other end, when there was the backward pass from Kenny to one of his running backs, the ball was placed at the 6. It should have been placed about the 4-yard line, and Fred Silva did call down to tell them it should have been placed at the 4, but his pager broke. And so the system breaks down once again.
Yes, it does. Yeah, but it is still working, and so and we're with it for this year.
That's right. We will have it through the year, and of course the owners will take a look at it at the end of the season.
Now what we're with is this ball game right now, and it has been all St. Louis. Let's go back and review the highlights of the first half.
And it begins with a field goal with the Cardinals getting on the board. Or excuse me, this is one they missed. Short and to the right, and they do not get on the board, but they do here. This is the first touchdown that St. Louis scores during the first quarter all season long. That was Green getting in on the 5-yard pass from Lomax, and then the field goal goes through from a short distance for the score 9-0. Lomax did have his problems. The blitz coming in, Green making a break off, but Lomax not reading it correctly, and the interception that set up this possibility by Kenny. With no timeouts, though, he has to go deep, try to get into the end zone. He goes to Kaufman, but the ball is intercepted, and that is the one that we mentioned before with Fred Silva. He says that, yes, the interception took place into the end zone, so it does come back to the 20-yard line. Take a look at the first half stats. The Kansas City Chiefs with only 4 first downs in the entire first half. Both rushing and passing has been anemic. 39 and 36 yards respectively, 75 total yards. Their offense in real trouble. Kenny just 7 of 15, not bad, but not for a great number of yards.
What has happened to Kansas City? They're flat. They should be up. Denver lost today. They know that they can move within a game of the Broncos.
They are really, it's not a long flight coming in from Kansas City to St. Louis.
And it's the same time zone.
They're blowing up great opportunities. Well, I'm sure John Malkovich walked in and said, you know, you're really blowing an opportunity. You've got a shot at the playoffs. Just because you got beat last week by Denver does not mean you're out of this thing. All you have to do is come in here and beat a team that's 2-9. And they're not doing it. They're running the ball on first down for little yardage, and Kenny's not been effective this far.
Sickhammer for St. Louis after the 10, the 15, the 20, 25, 26-yard line. And that's where the Cardinals will go to work only once this year. Now, the Chiefs been shut out in the first half, 16-0 at San Diego. They came back to win that ball game. Lewis Cooper making the tackle here. Greg Hill, as if holding his stomach and coming out. No, I think he's going to stay in. So Greg Hill will stay in the secondary, and St. Louis will go to work at their own 26-yard line, first down. And of course, the Cardinal locker room much more relaxed, I'm sure, during this halftime in Kansas City. Lomax on the pitch to Mitchell, and Mitchell will lose a yard back to the 25, so it's going to be second down and 11 as Dino Hackett, the rookie out of Appalachian State. No, it's Lewis Cooper again who was there, excuse me. Cooper having a pretty good ball game. Second and 11.
And the young linebacker crew of Kansas City is having just a terrific year. I would imagine Dino Hackett has got to be considered as the defensive rookie of the season in the NFL. More than 100 tackles. In fact, 40 tackles more than anybody else on the Kansas City defense, and that's remarkable for a rookie coming into the league for the first time.
The veteran in the secondary is Radisek. He's in his third year. He's the grand old man of the linebacker.
Yeah, he goes in there and he calls the plays for it.
Second and 11. The pass is it interception? Almost, and it was Lewis Cooper who was in the area along with Scott Radisek. And it's going to be third down and 11. Doug Marsh, the intended receiver. And one thing that if Kansas City is going to get something going, they need to establish a confidence factor right now. They need for the Cardinals to hold them here, 3 punt, have an opportunity for Kansas City to try and do something.
And they have to do it the way they did it last week. Their defense has got to provide them with an opportunity to get back into this football game, as they tried to do last week against Denver. Unfortunately, their offense and their special teams didn't cooperate last week.
A fumble recovery and an interception, but both times Kansas City gave the ball back. And Lomax is sacked. It is the defense that comes through. The third sack of the ball game for Kansas City. And we'll give this one to Bill Moss.
And also credit that sack to Greg Hill, number 23, who's filling in for Kevin Ross. He had great coverage on Roy Green, allowing the pressure to get in and to sack Lomax. The ball came out, but it's recovered and just a little bit late. Apparently, Lomax is already in the grasp and ruled down by the official.
Loss of 8, and here is the kick. And Jeff Smith, it goes over his head. He lost it in either the lights or the night, and it rolled for another 10 or 12 yards. A major mistake by Jeff Smith.
Yeah, that is a major mistake. You've got to always catch the football back there, regardless of where it is, especially when it was only 4 or 5 yards over his head. The only answer must be that he lost the ball on the lights in some way, although it seemed to be high enough to get out of the lights pattern. Here at Busch Stadium, I've played here before during the nighttime. There is calling for the fair catch. You see, it's only a few yards beyond him. It seems like he just misjudged it. But the lighting situation is good here for a receiver and a punt returner.
So it goes as a 52-yard kick, and Kansas City has the ball at their own 31-yard line. First down, their first opportunity from scrimmage in the second half, and Mike Pruitt gets the call.
And they come out running once again on first down. That was one of their problems in the first half. They did run on first down, but they did not get more than 4 yards. And in the NFL, that's the situation you have to have on first down, to set up at least a 2nd and 6 situation so that you can have the option of running or throwing. They have that now, which puts the St. Louis Cardinal defense at bay.
Second down and 4. 37-yard line. Chiefs in their own territory. Herman Hurd. And Hurd, with those fresh legs, goes to the 48-yard line. He has 11 and the first down.
And Hurd running like the running back of old. He said he just wanted another opportunity to go in and show that those fumbles were not something that was a habitual problem, but something that simply occurred against them. You can see he is a fluid runner, and really the best pure running back as far as rushing ability is concerned that the Kansas City Chiefs have. They're going to need him if they're going to continue on their way to the playoffs, because their rushing attack needs an added boost.
First down for Kansas City. Kennedy to throw far side, and the pass is there. It is complete. And Walt Arnold, the tight end, is the man who pulled it in. Carl Carter had the coverage. St. Louis 46-yard line.
And already you see the change of strategy that John Mackovic is deploying here in the first half, or excuse me, in the second half as opposed to the first half. First down, they get a good running play the previous time. Now a first down situation. They go to the quick out, pick up 5 yards. Now they've got the option. They can run or they can throw, because St. Louis isn't quite sure with just 5 yards to go for another first down.
Second and 4. And they come back with a rushing play. Here is Hurd. He cuts and goes to the 44. It's going to be third down, still about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 to go for the first down. Al Baker makes the tackle. Today's telecast, now actually tonight's telecast, presented by Authority, the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals and the National Football League is prohibited. Third down, short yardage. Do you gamble and go deep here?
Yeah, well, no. I think here you've got to get a first down because it's vitally important to them for motivational factors and for confidence to get something out of this drive.
Here's Larry Moriarty. The one tackle is down at the 45-yard line. He loses 1 yard. So it is 4th down and 3 at the 45-yard line. Carl Carter made the tackle. And that means that Lewis Colbert will be punting.
Larry Moriarty was known as Jerry Glanville's 1.5 yard back in Houston, and since coming here for the trade, he's getting a little more mileage out of a one-back offense that Kansas City has employed because of the injury to Jeff Smith. There, though, knocked off his feet and unable to use the great power he has to get that 1.5 yards when necessary.
Excellent defensive play by Carl Carter, who is the rookie taken in the 4th round of the draft out of Texas Tech. And this will be chased into the end zone for the touchback. So we'll bring the ball out to the 20-yard line where St. Louis will have possession with 10:54 left to go in the third quarter. A 45-yard punt. The Cardinals out in front by 9.
Nothing escapes the eye of Maxim. The world's first SLR with built-in autofocus, Minolta Maxim focuses by itself. Sharp, fast. Only the human eye focuses faster. With Minolta Maxim, you even get unexpected shots that would have gotten away. The incredible Maxim system.
Only from the mind of Minolta.
Now here's your burger and...
Sometimes brakes can give you a gentle hint that they need a little work.
Take it to Midas.
Over 4 million people have trusted their brakes to Midas. Good price, good guarantee. We won't break you.
Whoops.
Take it to Midas.
Whoops. Huh?
Take it to someone you trust.
There's a fire-breathing creature Chrysler's imported from Japan. Conquest TSI. The intercooled turbo coupe built by Mitsubishi. So hot it'll smoke the 300ZX and RX-7. Conquest TSI. Now at your Chrysler dealer.
Today's game is being brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth. We're working together to be the best. By the Stanley Works. Stanley helps you do things right. And by Midas. For mufflers, brakes, and shocks, trust the Midas touch. This is Charlie Jones, Jimmy Cephalo, 10:54. Time remaining third quarter here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals in front of the Chiefs by a score of 9-0, and St. Louis has the ball at their own 20-yard line. And thus far, the Cardinals can do no wrong. The Chiefs can do no right. St. Louis has dominated the ball game. Roy Green in motion. Lomax hands off to Stump Mitchell. And the Stumper has a couple to the 22. And it'll be 2nd down and 8. Tim Cofield was there with a tackle. Now let's check the scores. Washington, what a roll. 34-0 over Dallas. Rams by 4 over New Orleans. 6th quarter. No, that's right. No wonder
they've been playing forever.
They really have. The computer's having fun with us. All right, guys, come on, computer. They mark Stump's last gain for 3, and so it is 2nd and 7. And there's a chance here to pick up the first down, and he does, and he breaks it down the sideline, all the way to the Kansas City 49-yard line. 29 yards on the play for Stump Mitchell. Art Still finally got him, or was it Leonard Griffin? It was still.
And Mitchell coming up limping a little bit on the play. His great ability is to cut very sharply while keeping his feet. There you see the move to the inside and taking the defensive back Greg Hill down with him as he goes because of his ability to make that sharp cut on the run.
What does he do with his jersey so you can never see the bottom of his numbers? Does he have it tucked in so you can't get a grip? Notice how that is?
I've never noticed before. It seems like he's so barrel-chested. It's really tight around the midriff area. A lot of running backs will do that so that no one can grab a hold of them as they're trying to slip out from the backfield.
First down at the Kansas City 49-yard line. Lomax. This is a quick screen to Green. And a good defensive play by Albert Lewis. Green put a couple of moves on him. He did move. By the way, injury report on Kevin Ross. You know, he got his finger poked in his eye. He's okay, but the eye's swollen shut. So he can't play. And so Greg Hill is playing at that right corner spot. But it's not anything of any kind of permanent injury. Loss of a yard. Second down and 11.
Albert Lewis with a nice play. Anytime you can stop Roy Green man on man, you've done quite a job. The job of a defensive back is to stare straight into the numbers of a receiver in that situation, because you can move your head, you can move your hips, but you can't move that number anymore. That's right. It stays wherever you go.
Will Farrell. And the Cardinals beginning to mount a rushing game almost to the 40-yard line. So it's going to be third down and about a yard. Whitney Paul led the defense there.
And Farrell seems to slow up a little bit. He's got a lot of people right and pulling in front of him. A couple of blockers, Louis Sharp, number 67, getting to him. And then you see he kind of didn't put his head down and try to run anybody over to get that extra yard. Farrell seemed to be a little bit shy of the contact on that play.
Well, but he has been, he's been struggling on an ankle.
That's right.
Injury, so that may...
Exactly. That's the problem. When you get banged up, you get this late in the season. Earl Farrell is usually a very strong, tough running back, but the injuries will create that. He saw the big hole and he hit it quickly enough. He just didn't lower the shoulder like he normally would had he been completely healthy.
Third down and a yard. With play action fake. And all alone is Farrell. There was nobody there. He goes to the 25-yard line. Gain of 15. It was 3rd and 1.
And they go with the fake to Sikahema in the backfield. Farrell has got 40 catches on the year coming into today, second on the team. So not only is a fair runner and a good blocker for Stunt Mitchell, but he has the ability to come out of the backfield and make a catch as well.
And also they're going at the side of Greg Hill, who's replacing Kevin Ross. 25-yard line of Kansas City. First down for St. Louis. Lomax goes deep in the corner to Green, and he can't get there. Albert Lewis had the coverage on. Is that just a long timing pattern? He sure released it early.
Well, that's a mistake on the part of Roy Green. It is a timing pattern, but regardless of how fast you are as a wide receiver, you can't turn it into a simple foot race, and that's what he does. He just tries to run down the field. Now, Ross has the line of the end zone to help him out. He knows he's not going to run 60 yards for a touchdown, and so the foot race turns into just a dead heat. And Ross is there and makes it a tough throw for Lomax because he didn't have a definitive target to get the ball to. What a receiver should do in those situations is to stutter a little bit, try to get the defense back to stop, and then blow by him. That way it's not just a foot race, it's skill, and you create a cushion between the receiver and the defensive back.
Second down and 10. The ball is at the 25-yard line. Over the middle, it is caught. It'll be a touchdown. J.T. Smith. And he beat Greg Hill. "25 yards on the touchdown pass, an 80-yard drive in 7 plays for the Cardinals."
Now, J.T. Smith coming up limping on the play, but that was just a great maneuver by Neil Lomax. He read the blitz. Another breakoff pattern. Actually, J.T. Smith is what on that play is called a hot receiver. He sees the blitz coming. He's got to break his pattern to the inside. You see him watching. There's a blitz from the linebacker. I've got to break my pattern. He does. He makes the catch. He's on the same page as Lomax. They both read the blitz, and he beats Greg Hill, as you mentioned, Charlie. They're working that side because of the injury to Kevin Ross. He gets a nice block downfield by Green, and we've got to score. And we also have a receiver injured on the spike. That's how he got hurt.
Oh, no.
He spiked the ball and hurt himself. Unbelievable.
And what is one of the great injuries to a teammate of yours on the spike?
Daryl Harris, Monday Night Football, national television. But you know what? I got to tell you, I loved it because I got to play. He was all right. He only missed a couple of series. I didn't catch any balls. But, you know, I mean...
But you remember it, don't you? All right, now, Eric Schubert to try the point after. And it is there. It is good, and the Cardinals lead Kansas City by a score of 16-0. We're going to a commercial, but we got to take another look at this. Oh, he came down on that ankle. That's what it was. Bad move.
Here's the purchase agreement for your Tandy computers. The training sounds great. Can we get it done in time?
Absolutely. The schedule we've designed for your people includes courses for each department with hands-on training and specialized software instruction.
And we'll be with you every step of the way. That's the kind of support and training we need.
Tandy Computers at Radio Shack Computer Centers. In business, for business.
Sure, the pride is back. Plymouth Sundance and Plymouth Voyager are the proof. Plymouth Sundance, the unbelievable American under $7,800. Sundance, the best value of any car in its class. Versatile Plymouth Voyager, front-wheel drive, car-like handling, spacious Plymouth Voyager. Plymouth's 550 protection plan backs them both.
The pride is back, born in America again.
Welcome to the Silver Bullet, home of a cold Coors Light.
Timbo, yo, where's Nadine tonight? They're probably sitting by the phone waiting for yours truly. Give me a Coors Light, will you, sweet thing? You guys have a little love spot? Nah, man's got to have some space. Gotta show these women who's boss. Got to zig when they zag. Hey, I know it's brutal, but a man's got it too. But Nadine.
Yo. Oh, she looks miserable.
Yeah.
No slowing down with the Silver Bullet tonight.
This fall, NBC Sports has a November to remember when heart-pounding excitement returns to the greens, where one putt could be worth $450,000. Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Lee Trevino, and Fuzzy Zeller play the Skins Game. It's a November to remember on NBC.
6 minutes and 46 seconds. That is the time remaining in the third quarter. And the surprising St. Louis Cardinals lead the Kansas City Chiefs by a score of 16-0. And Eric Schubert will be kicking off. Jeff Smith takes it. The kickoff being short by Schubert. He returns it out to the 32-yard line. Now let's go back to J.T. Smith and his score.
Then the wide receiver laments. Now, I'm sure he's going to go to the sideline and say, well, Coach, this is actually where I hurt the leg. You see, I beat the guy, and he'll grab the hold of my leg, and right at the end, I twisted a little bit because it was bothering me before. But, you know, I gutted it out, and I looked like I ran into the end zone as if nothing in the world was bothering me, and I was so excited I spiked the ball, and then I remembered through my excitement that, yeah, my ankle was hurt, and then I limped. But it really didn't happen when I spiked the football, Coach. Honest, and please don't find me.
Would he get away with it?
Well, I heard that story from Daryl Harris, so I thought it probably worked for JT if he wants to use it.
I thought maybe it was one of your old stories. Kansas City comes out with Herman Hurd, and Hurd goes to the 39-yard line. They mark the line of scrimmage as the 31. With the gain of 8, 2nd and 2, Lonnie Young, the free safety for the Cardinals, makes the tackle. Now, Kansas City is down 16-0. Because a lot of times, 6 minutes plus third quarter, they're not throwing. I thought they'd come out throwing.
Well, I thought they'd start throwing the ball on first down.
Yeah.
Coming out the second half, they've been successful on 2 running plays on first down to put them in good field position. But I think to get back in this game, they're going to have to throw on first down and not just in the obvious passing situations.
They need 2 touchdowns in the field goal to try and pull it out. You know, they were the favorite coming in. A flag is down on the play as Pruitt picks up the first down. Now, speaking of penalties, to this point, prior to this flag, Kansas City 4 penalties for 63 yards. St. Louis 0. They were offsides. That'll be their first penalty, but they're going to refuse it. I think they'll refuse it. The yardage is going to be about the same. They'll take the play.
Offside. Number 52 on the defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Here's good news. The computer is back. All right. Washington still, there wasn't anything wrong with that, 34-0. And the Rams still in front of New Orleans. San Francisco still leads. Oh, look what Seattle has done. And Seattle have been struggling recently. Their record is 5-6 in the AFC West. And basically, I don't know. You know, if they surprise everybody and win all the last ones, you know, they might slip back in. But well, that's a long haul for them. Pass far side on the first down to Henry Marshall is complete at the 45-yard line of St. Louis, and looks as if it will be a first down, but let's see. They were going after Carl Carter, the defender, and it is going to be a first down.
And they finally do break out of the pattern of running on first down and throw the football. In that situation, the timing play we've talked about all day long. 5 steps by the quarterback, 12 yards by the receiver. Throw it out there, and Marshall picks up the first down. Marshall, who is starting in place of Carlos Carson, as we mentioned earlier, injured and out of today's action.
Kinney has pressured. He gets this one off to Hurd to the 36-yard line. And a gain of 9 on the play. It's going to be second down and 1. Ikonoga making the tackle. Ron Monaco also there. Yeah, do you notice Hurd, as you know, he hadn't played that much since those 2 fumbles that we talked about earlier. He's running with fire in his eye. He is really moving.
Well, you know, that's the great motivator is sitting on the bench, because the next move, J.T. Smith had the same problem here, not a fumble problem, but he was placed on the bench by John Malkovich, and a year later he was gone, and Herman Hurd remembers that, I'm sure.
Mike Pruitt is dropped for a loss at the 37. He'll lose a yard, so it's going to be third down and a couple. Al Baker just kind of bumped him with his shoulder and caught him just at the right off-balance moment and dropped him at the 37-yard line. 4.5 minutes to go in the third, and the Cardinals shutting out the Chiefs by a score of 16-0.
Kansas City has to get something out of this drive. Third and a couple of yards. It's important for them to at least get Lowry an opportunity to kick a field goal. That means no sacks, no loss of yardage on the part of Kenny.
It's Pruitt going for the first down, and it's going to be close. You spot the ball just inside the 35. Kansas City's deepest penetration today, and that should stand up for the first down. Galloway and Young were there for St. Louis. It'll be the 34-yard line. Cardinal defense has played well. They are ranked 9th in the NFL, 23rd against the rush, but 3rd against the pass.
First and 10.
And more important, they believe today. Kenny, the pass is complete quickly to the outside, goes to Page, and Stefan is stopped by Leonard Smith, and they'll mark it at the 27-yard line. Second down and 3. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Kenny just got the ball over the rush of the front 4 or 5 because there is a blitz on. It seemed that he just got the ball over Charlie Baker, who was blitzing on the play, got his arms up, but Kenny found an open hole and got it to Stefan Page for some yardage.
He made a nice move around Baker.
He did make a nice move around Baker.
Second and 3. Kenny to throw. And he goes deep, and there's a miscommunication. What happens there? Page, the intended receiver, was an inside route. He was throwing an outside route.
Well, it was Cedric Mack. I think Kenny was just throwing it away. Cedric Mack had great coverage against Stefan Page. And bump and run coverage, the wide receiver wants to go inside, and the defensive back is sitting inside. So how do you get him to move? Well, you fake him out. You tell him, well, I'm going to go out here for a while, so come on and follow me. I'm going to run out here. You start to the outside, and if he doesn't buy it, you're dead. It's over. The play's over. Quarterback sees it and says, you blew it. He didn't buy your fake. I'm going to throw the ball away. And that's what happened with Kenny and Stefan Page on that play.
Now you're third down and 3, and you've got to throw here.
Not necessarily, but I would look for Kansas City to throw the ball. Again, the important part, they need some points out of this. Don't keep Lowry out of field goal position.
Herman Hurd. Cedric Mack again for St. Louis. Loss of 3, 4th down and 6.
Cedric Mack is playing quite a football game. Watch him down the bottom. He gets the good penetration coming from the inside out. Reads it really well, and whoa, no chance for Herman Hurd to make any move there. That was Young.
Lonnie Young.
That was Lonnie Young. That wasn't Cedric Mack. But just a nose tackle. He took his knees out from under him, and Hurd had no opportunity to put a fake on.
47-yard field goal attempt by Lowry. This is well within his range. Kenny to hold. Lingner with the snap. He has hit 47 yards this year. Career, he's hit from 58. Did he get it? No, he didn't. He's going to come up short from 47 yards away. So another opportunity. Slips away from Kansas City. St. Louis leads 16-0. Third quarter. We'll be back.
When you're behind the wheel in LeBaron GTS, it's nice to know GTS excelled in handling in a U.S. Auto Club test. Did 0 to 50 in 5.63 seconds. Triumphed in braking and gave BMW and Mercedes something they never expected, a driving lesson. GTS comes sensibly priced with Chrysler's protection plan. You don't drive LeBaron GTS the way USAC did, but it's nice to know you could. Chrysler, driving to be the best.
Panasonic, the future of office automation. Advanced equipment. Panasonic, the future of office automation. Advanced equipment with an extraordinary concept. The easier, the better. Panasonic offers solutions to your special computer problems. High-speed microprocessors, high-resolution monitors, and high-performance printers, which make them a very easy choice. Panasonic computers and computer peripherals, like our typewriters and copiers, the easier the better. Panasonic Office Automation.
All roads lead to Sears' biggest automotive sale of the year. Save 30% on Sears' best-selling tire, the Road Handler 45 Radio. Made by Michelin and backed by Sears. Now as low as $44.99, only at Sears. And get superb performance with the Sears Heavy-Duty Gas Shock. At $9.99, its price has never been lower. But hurry, this sale is on now.
There's more for your life.
We installed confidence.
At Sears.
Thanksgiving Day, the NFL plays here when the Seahawks battle the Cowboys.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 86.
Isn't that a great shot?
If you're a
Cardinal,
if you're a fellow Cardinal or a female Cardinal, either or.
You're inside. What did you do today, Dad? Well, I was the Cardinal. I was inside the net. I tried to stay warm. Okay. St. Louis leading 16-0 with the ball at their own 30-yard line. Lomax has completed 12 of 22, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And he goes to Stump Mitchell. Mitchell, that is his 13th carry. And now is about 45 yards at 13 carries. So he's getting some work, but not a lot of yardage. Pete Koch makes the tackle. Smith, 4 receptions, 61 yards and a touchdown. Green, 4 receptions, 28 yards and a touchdown.
And with 1:52 and counting in the third quarter, St. Louis has got to continue as we look at some of our scores. Dallas finally gets on the scoreboard, 34-7. Seattle continuing with a 21-6 lead over Philadelphia in the third quarter, and San Francisco comfortably over Atlanta, 20-0 in the third as well. But they've got to continue this rushing attack to try and eat some of the time off of the clock. If they go to the air, short passes, control to Green underneath and to the running backs.
And it's Green back underneath the coverage to the 35, 36-yard line, gain of 4, so it's going to be 3rd down and 4. And Lewis Cooper makes the tackle.
Green does that so well. He has the ability to catch the ball anywhere on the field and break a long one because of his tremendous speed. They call him Jetstream Green.
You don't like that nickname? I've heard better.
I've heard better. Jetstream isn't bad, though. I've heard better. There's a colorful group of people around the NFL come up with great nicknames.
3rd down and 4. St. Louis at their own 36-yard line. Lomax standing in, slips away, little pump fake, has the 1st down, looks for a block, and he goes down at the 46-yard line or the 45-yard line. They'll mark it, So he scrambles for 9 in the first down, and the clock continues on its inexorable march to the end of the third quarter.
And a nice fake on the part of Lomax. The book against him is that he doesn't read defense as well. Here he has the presence of mind, though, that doesn't have anything downfield. Nice fake. He pulled it up and faked the linebacker out who thought he was going to throw the football. And then the old crafty veteran slides safely in so that he doesn't miss any more football games.
And there's the countdown to the end of the period. So we will have 3 in the books with the 4th to go. At the end of the third quarter, it is St. Louis 16, Kansas City nothing. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
On Hill Street, meet Sister Chastity.
It's Grace Gardner. Grace. Sister.
It's a new habit, but the old ones are hard to break. Thursday.
Get ready, get set, get to your Ford dealer now. The keys to your new Ford are here. It's the Ford Key Jamboree.
Trade in your old keys before the winter freeze.
F-150, save almost $1,800.
Key to the future.
Taurus, save over $700. Buy now before the end of the year and beat the tax law changes.
It's your key to saving.
The Ford Key Jamboree at your local Ford dealer right now.
Anything could happen when you play the all-new Missouri Lottery game, the Show Me Doubler. Just match any 3 amounts and you're a winner. Or rub off 2 like amounts and the word double and win twice the amount.
You seen it? Seen what?
Up to an instant $100,000.
I never did find that other ticket.
You expecting somebody?
You could even win a chance at the weekly jackpot spin for $1 million or more.
Well, that's my cow.
Just like you, I work hard for my money. But up till now, it didn't work hard enough for me. Well, all that's changed. I just opened a new investment savings account at Commerce Bank. And with investment savings, my interest rate grows as my savings grow. The more I save, the more I earn. In fact, when my balance reaches $1,000, I earn money market rates. And I can write checks on the account and use the 24-hour teller for transactions. I work hard for my money. Now, at Commerce Bank, it returns the favor.
Turn on the Plaza lights with TV4 Thanksgiving Day.
You can see not a lot of offensive excitement through 3 quarters, but the St. Louis Cardinals will take it up 16-0. Interestingly, the Kansas City offense by Bill Kenny has produced about 100 yards more per game than they had with Todd Blackledge, but they're less than 150 yards in total offense through 3 quarters.
St. Louis first down, their own 45-yard line, leading 16-0 as they start the final period. They'll play action fake, and it is complete to Farrell, and Farrell has the first down at the 43-yard line of Kansas City. Dino Hackett makes the tackle. A gain of 13 on the play. What about this Cardinal ball club? They've been playing like this all year. They'd have a much better record.
They would. Unfortunately, they have not been playing well. This is and Neil Lomax is the key to this offense. He did not play well through the first part of the season, benched the last couple of weeks. But it's important for him to play well over the next 5 weeks because Gene Stallings has to make a decision. If they go into the offseason at 2-14 or 3-13, why in the world will he decide to come back with Neil Lomax as a starting quarterback?
First down at the Kansas City 43. Sikahima again replacing Stump Mitchell. The pass is to Green. Green has it, and he will go out of bounds at the 33-yard line and may have the first down. That's where he had to go to. Sherman Cockcroft was chasing him. Injury report on Stump Mitchell. He had a sprained toe earlier. Now he has a rib injury, unlikely to return.
Well, that cuts down their ability to run time off the clock with their running game. Farrell is just not the same kind of a running back that Stump Mitchell is. Maybe that's why they're running some of those short patterns on first down as well. I didn't think we'd see them throw the ball unless it was an obvious passing situation. But that last pass to Green, very safe. 5 yards, he stops, and Lomax gets him the ball. It's just like an extended handoff.
And he has Sikahima in the backfield, but he's carried the ball only twice coming into this ball game and has 9 receptions. And here he is. That is only the 3rd time that he has carried the ball on a rushing play from scrimmage this year. Cofield makes the tackle. Sikahima, quite a colorful character. Played his collegiate ball at BYU from Tonga. Born in American Samoa. And he does a fire dance, with the batons, the whole thing.
He can do that in the end zone of BYU.
No, that was his dad that came in the end zone of BYU with the whole outfit. And everybody said, oh, wait a minute.
I think they give him a flag here in the NFL. I mean, that would make Gastineau's sack dance look tame.
Yes, it would be. No, I can't spike the ball, but I'll do my fire dance with the baton. Second down and 7 at the 29-yard line. Here's Sikahema. And he will lose a yard to the 30, so it's going to be 3rd down and 8. But St. Louis is attempting to do what you were talking about, and that is, you know, crank down some time. Let's get some time off of that clock. We're moving on the 13-minute mark. Bill Moss with the last tackle.
It's slightly dangerous, though, for Sikahema. Take a look at Bill Moss there. Right off the ball against Chilton. You know, sneaking up and timing the snap of the ball, so he's the one who really created all the havoc. Simply by knowing an offense, maybe reading a cadence. After you go through a game from 3 quarters, you start jumping on a quarterback as he continues the same cadence. Neil Lomax, if he starts noticing that Moss is trying to guess on his count, watch him to change up a little bit. We'll find out if Moss doesn't get called for being outside once in a while.
Of course, with the injury to Derek Kennard, Ray Brown, who just activated, is in that guard spot. Here's Green. He pulls it down to the 5-yard line. And he beat Deron Cherry, who is a tough man to beat. And it's going to be against Kansas City.
Offside on the defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
25 yards on the play to the 5-yard line. 1st down and goal to go.
It's Art Still who's offside. Left part of your screen. Just there he is. Just one step quick. Offsides, and Toonie Robbins can't control him. He really leveled the quarterback. Lomax took quite a hit, but still had the ability to get the ball off, and Green makes a nice catch. Lomax, though, take a look at that. You know, under a lot of pressure, he sees somebody barreling down on him, has the presence of mind to get rid of the football. That's what 3 quarters of good football will do for you.
1st down and goal to go. 5-yard line. 12 minutes, 13 seconds. That is the time remaining. And St. Louis threatens just to blow it open. Now they don't want to make a mistake here. Something is wrong. Lomax did not like what he saw, so he takes a timeout. And that means it will go away and be back in just a moment.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on.
From the low price of new Chevy S10EL, new towing power of Chevy Astro, new fuel-injected 350 V8 power available in every full-size Chevy, America knows nothing works like a Chevy truck.
This is the new Linear View Writer. To type as fast on an electric typewriter, you'd have to type a lot faster. To make revisions as fast, you'd have to type even faster. To retrieve files as fast, you'd have to go even faster. So to make your job easier and more rewarding, get a Linear View Writer, even faster. Linear, we're easy to use.
Life is full of changes, and State Farm is there.
I'm State Farm Agent George Palmy. If your family's like mine, you'll find reminders of how fast things change. Wasn't so long ago, my daughter Jill was riding in this. Now she drives this. Look around you. If you see your insurance needs have changed, auto, home, life, or health, see your State Farm agent for a family insurance checkup. The advice is free.
And like a good neighbor,
And the decisions are yours.
State Farm is there.
Today's game is being brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. By Budweiser, Beechwood Aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by GMAC, the financial services people from General Motors. In the second half, Neil Lomax has completed 7 of 9 passes for 91 yards, and he has completed 6 in a row, and has a 1st down and goal to go at the Kansas City 5-yard line. And he gives to Vi Sikahema and has a yard, and that's going to be about it. Pete Koch makes the tackle for Kansas City. Mark it at the 4. It'll be 2nd down, goal to go. I don't think they can run it in the end zone. I think he has to throw.
No, it's also a gamble with Vi Sikahema simply because Here's the rookie, only carried twice this year in rushing situations, and you're in a critical point of the football game. Stump Mitchell is out. Sikahema is not used to that running of the ball this season, and for that reason, a little bit of danger on the part of the Cardinal offense.
Lomax throws. He rolls out to the right, then throws, and the pass is incomplete, so it'll be 3rd down and goal to go. Sikahema, the intended receiver, and Dino Hackett was there for the defense. So one more opportunity, then you go with the field goal, of course.
It's basically a safe pass, a run-pass option. Lomax, when he gets to the corner, has the choice of either running or passing, but there it was Art Still applying the pressure, forcing him to go into the end zone.
And, of course, if they come up short here, the kicker is Eric Schubert, who they just signed this week. And he has hit from 21 yards and came up short and to the right from 46 yards away. They came up, did not have an opportunity on an extra point because the holder, Kent Austin, bobbled the ball. So he has been good and bad, some good, some bad. But this is 3rd down. Lomax turns around. I thought he was trying to point something out to the referee. That there's something he does not like about the call, because apparently he was going right into the teeth of the defense. And again, he does not want to make a mistake, because a touchdown here could, make it ever so difficult for Kansas City.
Even a field goal. A field goal puts them up by 19 points, and then it forces Kansas City to go for 3 full touchdowns. Now, as it is, they only need 2 touchdowns and a field goal, feasible with 11 and a half minutes left in the game. But still, he's being booed. Look at those numbers, 16-27. That's not a bad day, I got to tell you. And this crowd is still booing him when he turns around and takes a timeout. This is the most critical part of the football game, because the points here will put it away for St. Louis. No,
this is the football game in reality.
You're right. It absolutely is. It'll put the game out of reach if they can get anything out of it, a field goal or anything else. Lomax, though, this has been a difficult year for him. He came out with an autobiography called 3rd and Long, where he criticized...
kind of like Stabler's one. He talked about everybody.
Well, he talked a little bit. He talked about Jim Hannafin, who was fired here as the head coach a year ago. He talked about Earl Farrell and his problems, drug problems over the past year. So for that reason, Lomax has gone through a very, very difficult season.
Have you written a book about your experiences with the Miami Dolphins?
I gave up writing for Lent last year.
I gave up Lent for what? No. All right. 4-yard line. 3rd down and goal to go. And Broderick Sargent is in the backfield. Lomax is going to throw. It's there. J.T. Smith, his 2nd reception for a score.
Lomax showing great patience. He didn't have anybody now. He wanted to go to the right side, but he had the presence of mind to come back to the left. And then J.T. Smith was not open, but he had to change his pattern, just find an open area, make sure he stays in the end zone, because, of course, if he crosses back over, it would have been a 4th down situation. Good play on the part of J.C. Smith and by Neil Lomax.
Eric Schubert to attempt the extra point. Like all kickers tried out this week from New York. Did not bring a change of clothes. Parked his car in short-term parking. And he made the team.
He's going to have quite a bit when he gets back home.
Listen to the heartbeat. Listen to the heartbeat of America.
When you're ready for the real world, put yourself in today's Chevy Sprint and listen to your heartbeat.
Heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
The American dream is one of hope and possibilities. We're GMAC, people who help make dreams come true. First, we made automobile financing easy. Now, home mortgages, financing for a boat, even MIC insurance to keep your dreams safe. We're the financial services people from General Motors. GMAC, official sponsor of America's dreams.
You begin with raw steel.
it with fire, muscle, and sweat. Polish it to razor-sharp perfection. We're looking for a few good men with a medal to be Marines. Don't resist. On December 7th, this woman is a fraud. Anastasia is dead. The mystery of Anastasia comes to life.
For Kansas City, they lost last week by at Mile High Stadium to Denver and needed to get something going. They obviously are not going to get anything going. Did this take them out of the playoffs?
Well, there's 4 games left, and they wind up 2 games behind the Denver Broncos because they lost today. But more importantly, how do they run up against the teams they're in competition with for the wild card spot? It doesn't mean they're out of it completely, but it does mean they'll have to win their next 4 games, the remaining 4 games in a row, and that includes games at home with Denver and away with the LA Raiders. A tough road if they do indeed lose this afternoon.
Boyce Green on the return leans across the 30 to the 31 of the 32-yard line. And I tell you something interesting that's happened, and don't forget it. That's a warning.
I never forget anything you tell me.
The remaining schedule of the Los Angeles Raiders. And their toughest game on their remaining schedule may have been last Thursday night against San Diego that they won in overtime. There's the time remaining here.
Well, they also do have to play Kansas City at home in the Coliseum, which will be an interesting contest because of the battle, the war that erupted the last time they played, that time at Arrowhead Stadium.
Kansas City at their own 31-yard line, first down, trailing 23-0. Little swing pass to the right side. Here is Herman Hurd, and Herman goes out at the 37-yard line. So he picks up 6. 6 is going to be 2nd down and 4. Carl Carter was there for St. Louis.
And this is not a fait accompli. It's not over yet, but Kansas City has got to go to a 2-minute offense. I mean, it's just 11 minutes left in the game. There you see Kansas City's remaining contest, a 500 record for their opponents. Buffalo next week, they can get healthy against them maybe, but they thought they'd get healthy here this afternoon against St. Louis too.
And then look, they have Denver at home, the Raiders on the road. They finish it at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh played a pretty good game against Cleveland today. Did that end up in overtime? Or was it one?
Yes, it did. 37-31. It was a touchdown pass by Kozar.
Yeah. So, so Pittsburgh is playing better. So
and they'll have to because they've got the Bears next week in Chicago.
Herman Hurd on that last carry, and there was a flag, and the penalty is going to be against Kansas City. But and also Herman Hurd comes up limping, and Page is waving to the sideline, so somebody will come out and help him. And Boyce Green will come back in. The ball goes back to the 33-yard line, and it's going to be 2nd down and 8. Kenny to throw. And this is off to Green. And perhaps the fact that Kansas City has been without Carlos Carson, who is their main deep threat, David Galloway, with the last tackle, took more out of the offense than anybody realized.
Well, Carlos Carson has missed several games this year due to injury, and it does take away their deep threat, as you mentioned. It changes the way they've got to structure their offensive game plan. Here, they're going to the short passing as they have all day long. In this situation, though, the St. Louis Cardinals are not going to get beaten deep. They're going to play that zone defense and force Kansas City to take a lot of time if they are indeed going to score at all.
First down at the 41-yard line. 10:20 remaining. That's plenty of time if they can get anything going. But they haven't been able to thus far. Kenny goes deep. Page, and it is incomplete. Good defensive play. A little bit underthrown. But Carter turned around and made the play with his left hand. So it'll be 2nd and 10.
Carter had little to worry about on the play. It's a 3-deep zone back there. All he had to do was make sure he didn't get beat for the score. And so any move that Page might have made before underneath the coverage, don't worry about it. Just go back and make sure he doesn't beat you for the big one. And Carter goes up and makes the play against Stephon Page.
And a conference being held by the officials. Here's the call. Rick Cashin says, don't mouth off.
12 men on the field on the defense. 5 yards, first down.
No wonder they had three deep. They had 6 linebackers, 3 deep people, and hope that 4 or 5 guys rushing the quarterback. They had some kind of a problem as the play was beginning to be run. St. Louis was running players in and off the field, and that does not bode well for St. Louis.
And that's their first penalty in the ball game.
Well, they had the one that they declined earlier, but you're right. That's the first one that counts.
It's been accepted. No, I think it's first down and 5. They moved the chains. No, the chain should have stayed back, and I believe it was first and 10 at the 41. Should be first and 5 at the 46. They'll have to move the chains back. And while they're doing that, we'll go back and check the scores. In the third quarter, Washington continues to lead Dallas. Rams continue to lead New Orleans. A lot of changes.
The Saints an opportunity to crawl into first place in the West for the first time maybe ever this late in the season for the problem over the past, at least, New Orleans Saints.
San Francisco and Seattle both leading in their ball game. The attendance, the tickets sold was 36,420. There were 6,700 no-shows. So actually in attendance 29,680 here today. This is off to Mike Pruitt. And Pruitt has the first down as he just reaches out to the St. Louis 49-yard line. Herman Hurd has a sprained knee, and he will take it in for an x-ray. And if we get a report, of course, we will pass it right on to you. Well, a moment ago, we took a look at Kansas City's remaining game. We also, there goes Hurd. We also wanted to have an opportunity to work in here the remaining games of the Denver Broncos and of the Los Angeles Raiders, because that, I think, is where that race in the West is going to develop with what Kansas City has done here today. And here's Mike Pruitt. Pruitt goes to the 40. He picks up 9 on the play. It's going to be second down and 1. Carl Carter making the tackle along with Bob Clasby, and removing on the 9-minute mark of time remaining.
Talked about nicknames before. Clasby's nickname, the House. I guess that encompasses the refrigerator, the ice cube, and all other major appliances you may want to take into your home.
Second down and 1. Flag is down. The pass is complete over the middle to Walt Arnold, the tight end, but there was a marker on the play.
Offside, number 79 on the defense. That penalty is refused. Griffin, the passer, number 76 on the defense. He's tacked on 15 yards.
First one called on the House.
The second one on Stafford Mays.
And so the Cardinals, who went for such a long time without any penalties, now start drawing them in bunches. And they'll take the ball down to about the 12-yard line. Chiefs 5 times for 68. The Cardinals now 2 for 20. And the ball at the 12.
You're mentioning the House. You probably remember Bob Clasby's father, who was captain for Harvard. His father, Richard, 1953.
1953, you're right.
Do you remember him?
Of course. Going to the corner of the end zone. You're not going to trap me.
1950, I don't want to tell you about it. Now, that's the difference between...
Do you remember him?
No, I don't remember.
If you remember him, we really got a story.
That's the difference between a good pattern on the goal line. Stephon Page ran a terrific pattern down there. He got on top of a defensive back, forced him into a trail position, and stuttered just for a second, then took off into the corner of the end zone. But Bill Kenny, just a little bit off today, overthrew him in the corner.
A trail position.
Trail position. Get the defensive back exactly behind you so that he's got to react to what you do. If you stutter at all, he's got to stop. And then you take off again. You create a separation between yourself and the defensive back. That's why us slow wide receiver types were able to get open on occasion down there on the goal line, because you force a defensive back to sit behind you, exactly behind you. He watches your numbers, and you stop for a second. He stops, and you take off again, and there's a great separation created. Stephon Page does that, well, maybe as good as anybody in football.
8:37 is the official time on the clock The time on the clock here is at 8:51. They'll run it down to 8:37, the official time. Of course, the clock is official, but also is double-checked by one of the officials on the field. And they need to do that, and that's the reason for the pause right here. Kenny, by the way, thus far has completed 15 of 25 for 119 yards and no touchdown. 119 yards through 3.5 quarters is a very... That's a poor day.
And it indicates the absence of Carlos Carson, 15 for just 15 completions for just 119 yards. That is the absence of any deep threat whatsoever.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's only, what, about 12, 13 yards per reception, which is a very low average.
You USC guys can figure that stuff out.
No, it's under 10, because 10 would be 150. So about 8 yards, 7 or 8 yards. So that really is low. Took me twice to get it right. 2nd and 10. The ball at the 12-yard line. The pass over the middle is juggled and then held by Walt Arnold at the 6-yard line. So a gain of 6. It will be 3rd down and 4 at the 6. Ron Monaco was there. His first NFL start.
Was Stephon Page open or not? It's a zone defense because the cornerback Cedric Mack lets him go, although he was wide open there for a second. Leonard Smith, number 45, the closest man to Stephon Page.
And Ron Monaco, who made the tackle, rookie free agent from South Carolina. His brother Rob was the backup center last year and said, why don't you give my younger brother a chance? And they did. And here's a touchdown pass to Stephon Page, and the Chiefs are finally on the scoreboard.
And that's the exact pattern that I talked before about, that Stephon Page runs so well. That time he had Carl Carter forced behind him in that trail position, and he wins. Watch the bottom of your screen coming in. Well, that time he didn't get it completely behind him, but he did give him a move at the line of scrimmage, and that forced Carl Carter to wait a second. Stephon Page blew past him and got open. Makes a nice catch for the score. And he knows how to spike. You see, he spiked it with 2 feet on the ground. He never jump up in the air.
Nick Lowry to attempt the point after. And it is good. And the St. Louis Cardinals now lead by a score of 23-7. We'll be back with a kickoff in just a moment.
You might get caught out in the middle of nowhere with a dead battery, but I won't. This is a Delco maintenance-free battery. And when this green eye is showing, it means I've got all the starting power I need, up to 770 cranking amps. If you think your battery's fading fast, I'd start thinking Delco.
Now through January 3rd, get a $5 rebate on most Delco batteries. See a participating AC Delco retailer for details.
Never wait for trouble.
Thanks. You know, it kind of makes you wonder. I mean, why does Coors develop their own special boiler? Have their own fleet of refrigerated trucks? They even designed and built their own malt house. Well, there's this saying, when you want it done right, do it yourself. This is right.
Listen to the heartbeat. Listen to the heartbeat of America.
When you have a style all your own, put yourself in today's Chevy Spectrum and listen to your heartbeat.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
America's favorite pastime returns to NBC as the nation's top rollers battle it out for Bowler of the Year honors. Join Jay Randolph and Hall of Famer Earl Anthony for the PBA Fall Tour next Saturday on NBC.
7 minutes and 53 seconds left. The margin 16 points. Is it too soon to onside kick?
No, they've got onside kick here. Down by 16 points with less than 8 minutes to go. You've got nothing to lose. Onside kick it right here.
You're very positive.
I don't think there's much question.
I think there is. Ball must go 10 yards before it can be touched or recovered by the kicking team. And just to punch it right over the back of him and get a fumble. They got the bounce. Goes back up in the hands of Earl Farrell. And he will have the ball at the 24, the 25-yard line. So the Cardinals, with Dino Hackett there for Kansas City, have the ball, which is exactly what they wanted to do, and will be at their own 25-yard line.
And John McAfee is going to rely on his defense to get him back in this football game, obviously, because a first down here at all will really doom the Kansas City Chiefs. There you take a look at the remaining games for the L.A. Raiders, and they really have the easier path to this whole deal.
Oh, yes. In the West, they can win the West. Their opponents have won 15 and lost 30, and that's a winning percentage of 33%. I mean, that's a very low winning percentage. There are the standings. Denver has the toughest road to hoe in the West.
And they're up by just one football game with 4 left to go after this is completed.
And now, of course, here's Vice Ikehima, and he'll pick up a yard. Yeah, we'll give him a yard. We'll play, call it 2nd and 9. They were running the clock down now. Now, here's what Denver does. Look, it's almost reversed as far as the one loss, and that the Denver opponents, they're right at 63-64% as far as their winning percentage. Oh, and they've got tough teams in there, and they end up with Seattle, who can, not playing that well up to this weekend, but are capable of doing it. So it's going to be tough for Denver.
Yes, it is. We thought 3 weeks ago, as a matter of fact, that Denver could walk away with the division. And now the Raiders crawl right back into it.
And then what Kansas City has done for themselves by the way that they played here. Here's Ron Wolfley, the ball carrier for St. Louis. St. Louis, I don't want to take anything away from them. They have really played well today. But Kansas City has let one get away that they thought that they could put in the win column. Here, Lewis Cooper making the tackle. He's had a good day. That they may have taken themselves out of contention in the West.
They may have. They need to go after the wild card, and the Raiders winning on Thursday night and the Patriots winning today, they go a game up on Kansas City.
And rather than being just, for the Chiefs standpoint, a game behind Denver, they are 2 games back with the Raiders in between. That means they've got to climb over somebody. And it's 3rd down and about 1.5 yards, and looks as if he'll come up a half-yard short of the first down. So the Cardinals will be kicking, and Kansas City could well have an opportunity here as Bill Moss and Lewis Cooper make the tackle.
The shame with Kansas City, though, is that they've made such great strides this year. Yep. Defensively, Walt Corey's come in and done a super job with their defense. They come up with a couple of young linebackers who'll be there for a long time and can play. Their passing game has always been strong. They've had some injuries to the wide receivers. It's cut down their effectiveness here today. But the running attack is the one thing they have not improved. They went out and they got a couple of people from the USFL and Mark Addix and Irv Eatman to improve their offensive line. They make a trade with Washington. They get Donnelly in here. So they've done well. They're improving everything, but they need that one running back to make them an effective overall offensive club.
4th down and 1. The kicking team came out, and the chain gang came with them. They had to send them back. Here's pressure. He still gets it away. Jeff Smith takes it at the 30-yard line. And he'll return to the 35-yard line. So Kansas City will have the ball at their own 35-yard line. 5:46 left to go in the ball game. St. Louis in front.
So they don't onside kick, and
This high-performance drink cleans your fuel system to help maintain peak performance. STP gas treatment, the high-performance drink for your car.
Driving on your old antifreeze another year can be risky. Weak, neglected antifreeze can cause freeze-up and make a radiator look this bad, while the Prestone radiator looks this good. So don't push your luck, change it once a year with fresh Prestone. Everyone needs a little adventure in their life. So why not enter the Great Stanley Tool Adventure? You could win a Chevy S10 Blazer to get you away from it all. A Mercury-powered Larson boat to put you in the middle of nature. And $1,000 in Stanley tools to help you do things right. Hey, the Blazer, the boat, the motor, the tools, you could win it all in the Great Stanley Adventure.
I think this dock needs a little more work.
I got a lot of Stanley tools.
Tonight, they had a job to do, but it wasn't the one their parents expected. Where Police Academy left off, a new semester begins. Combat High tonight.
This is Charlie Jones, Jimmy Cephalo. It is in the cool of the evening in St. Louis, Busch Stadium. but it is warm for the Cardinals. They are going for their third victory of the year, pulling an upset over Kansas City, and they lead 23-7 with 5:46 left to go in the ballgame. Chiefs still with 3 timeouts remaining. St. Louis has only 1 remaining, but they have the lead of 16 points. Boy screen. And Bob Flansky makes the tackle. I don't understand it. I think you got to throw.
You've got to. I mean, what's the use of a little trick play? It doesn't make any sense. They've got to throw the ball downfield. 16 points now with 5.5 minutes left.
And a Cardinal is injured on the play. So we stop the clock with 5:31. Tonight, program note on Our House. Will the family stand behind Gus when he falls in love? What do you think? What do you think?
I'm not sure. I hope I've been here
Easy
before,
Street and Valerie are trading places, and it's a hit. Valerie followed by Easy Street on Sunday. Then the NBC world premiere movie, Combat High.
Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, I thought you might have watched it in preview.
No, I did.
It's a
preview. Chance to see it. 2 crazy cadets turn an academy into chaos in Combat High. It's not.
Who's in that movie?
It's not the movie we had last Sunday night. I'd say this is a pretty good movie, but it's not the movie we had last Sunday night. That's Nico Noga coming out of the ball game.
Nico Noga, one of his teammates, said he runs like a deer and he hits like a soda machine.
He's a fast pop. I just made that up. That's terrible. He runs like a deer and hits like a soda machine. Who said that?
I don't know. One of his teammates that I read this week. I'm not sure which one it was, but I think it's E.J. Jr. That's right.
2nd down and 6. Kenny over the middle. And this is Jonathan Hayes. His first reception of the ball game. The tight end to the 46-yard line. And that's a first down.
And they finally go to the 2-minute offense here with 5 minutes left in the contest.
Kenny goes deep, and Page could not get inside, and 2 flags are going to come down. Page wanted to come inside and run a post pattern, I believe, and they just wouldn't let him.
He bumped up with Carl Carter about 15 yards downfield with the ball in the air, past the illegal chuck area.
Pass interference. Number 41 on the defense. Touchdown.
Down here, bottom part of your screen there, you see he wants to get inside, and Carl Carter sticks his arms out, gets the bump with the ball in the air, and it is pass interference as opposed to an illegal chuck. Now, if it was down past the 5 yards and the ball was not in the air, it would have simply been that penalty of 5 yards because of the illegal chuck. But there, the ball in the air, and so they get the pass interference call.
At the St. Louis 36, he goes to Page, and it is incomplete. So bring it back to the Cardinal 36. It'll be 2nd down and 10. And Emil Harry has come in. The speedster from Stanford is a wide receiver. And I believe Page is going to come out and take a quick breather.
And that's all the wide receivers, pure wide receiver they have. They have Henry Marshall, Stephon Page, and Emil Harry. Carson, of course, out with the injury. They're down to only 3 healthy people out there.
Wait a minute, is that Carlos Carson wide to the far side? He's not supposed to play. To the near side, and the pass is complete, and out is Harry.
And that is Carlos Carson.
I thought so that we picked him up. Number 88. He has that sprained foot, and he is in the ballgame. The last play went to the 25-yard line.
You notice Carlos Carson, was wearing those gloves.
Yes, I like those gloves.
Receivers have gotten the gloves that the deep-sea divers use because they've got that great dexterity, little suction cups on the end. They're very warm and very thin.
And boy, do they hold on to the football. Incomplete. Carson, the intended receiver. Line of scrimmage at 25. We'll bring it back. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 25-yard line. Just over 4.5 minutes remaining.
Let's see if we can't pick up a limp or something on part of Carson. It looks like he's running fairly well there against Cedric Mack. Although the speed of Carlos Carson on a normal day might have gotten closer to that football. Mack, nice positioning on it, but it looked like he was striding fairly well.
2nd down and 10. Marshall and Page now the wide receivers. And it is complete, this time to Henry Marshall. And Marshall steps out at the 13-yard line. Has the first down, and he stops the clock at 4:31 left to go. Chiefs with a long road back here. Down by 16 points.
Touchdown, 9 points away. They still need 2 more scores if they get into the end zone here. And so it would take at least 1 successful onside kick for them to get back into this football game.
But stranger things have happened. Let's see if Kansas City can do it. 13-yard line of St. Louis. First down. It's high, but it's there, and it's a score. And it is Stephon Page with the touchdown. That is the 7th touchdown for Page this year. And the margin is now 10 with the extra point to come.
Surprised that he was that wide open under the circumstances, down by 16 points inside the 15-yard line, and wide open, not a player within 4 or 5 yards of Stephon Page.
Kenny to hold. The extra point is up, and it is good, and it's now a 23-14 ball game. And for Nick Lowry, he now has 113 consecutive extra points, and we have 4:26 left in the ball game.
Let's find out how Stephon Page got this wide open. Being a wide receiver is kind of like being an architect. You build things. You build a pattern through the game. You go one way and come back the other. That time, he gets behind the entire defense. It was Carl Carter, number 41, the closest one to him. Let's see what he does. Carter's got a man-to-man, it appears. Gives that good outside move and beats him back to the post. But it's like being an architect. You build things through a contest. You come up and you set a play. Sometimes you will purposely get covered in a play where you're not the primary receiver, but you set the defensive back up. You make him think, oh, I always use this outside route all the time. But you know you're not the primary. The next time when you are, you go to that outside route, and all of a sudden, boom, you cut back inside, as he did there, and you score a touchdown.
And it was his second touchdown reception. The ball game runs his totals, as you saw, to his 8th touchdown on the year. And it's a 23-14 ball game. And now all of a sudden, remember, 4:26 left. That's a lot of time. From the standpoint is Kansas City has 3 timeouts.
And it's only 9 points.
And the Cardinals have only 1 timeout remaining in case they get in any kind of trouble.
Well, the onside kick here becomes very important. Now, Kansas City can't rely, as they did on the last time they kicked off, on their defense to get the football back. But I still think you've got to go for the onside kick. And St. Louis is lined up in anticipation of the onside.
Right. Now, do you do that, or do you just kick it deep and figure that your defense can hold them? Because your defense is going to have to hold them somewhere along the line.
Well, but if your defense is going to hold, they can hold them here as well as they can hold them 20 yards back. If you can, any first down throws the game out of whack as far as Kansas City is concerned. So you've got to rely on your defense stopping them at 3 plays. Try the onside. If you get it, fine. If not, your defense goes in. You hope they hold them at 3 plays, and you get the ball back anyway. Why kick it downfield without any chance at all of getting it on the onside?
Now, one of the things that there's several kind of onside kick that Nick Lowry will hit the ball high, wanting on like the 2nd or the 3rd bounce for it to kick up in the air, so that everybody's got a chance his teammates have a chance to come down with it.
Especially on AstroTurf.
Yes, and the ball must go 10 yards. Remember, before the 10 yards can be recovered by the Cardinals. After the 10 yards can be recovered by Kansas City. It's strange. Now they get the hop downfield. I'm surprised.
I am too. Lowry seemed to look for that open area and split kick it as if you would when you don't want a return to come your way. Instead of the straight outside kick.
Was he trying something
to hit somebody?
That didn't work? No.
That might have been it. Maybe he was trying to hit somebody in the front line, but it seemed like he picked the open area and went right to it.
Like a moving target? Hit him and maybe a drop?
Well, on occasion, a kicker will try to do that. Find someone up front, a big target, kick it to him and make the ball hit him after the 10-yard mark and then bounce back toward your own players. But
that's really getting complicated, though, isn't it? All right. St. Louis has the ball. 4:17 is the time remaining. St. Louis leading 23-14. They led 23-0. It was more comfortable for them then. Sikahima getting quite a workout because of Stump Mitchell being out with a rib problem. And Aaron Pearson, rookie from Mississippi State, taking the 11th round of the draft. And there's a look at the most important numbers besides the scoreboard itself.
Kansas City with 3 timeouts remaining. I would imagine they'll elect to use at least one before the 2-minute warning, because they bump that up together and wind up getting the football back with a little bit more time. Not to just simply save it for the last minute of the contest. Lomax looks like he's changing the play at the line of scrimmage.
5 seconds in the 30-second clock. They'll use that all of that. Ron Wolfley gets the call as we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WDAF TV4 Kansas City.
This is Charlie Jones, Jimmy Cephalo with 3:15 and counting. That is the time remaining here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals in front of the Chiefs with an upset working 23-14. But Kansas City has scored the last 2 touchdowns, a 6-yard pass and a 13-yard pass from Bill Kenny to Stephon Page. And the margin is 9. And remember that Nick Lowry's longest field goal has a career field goal of 58 yards. Incomplete. Roy Green, the intended receiver. That stops the clock, and it is 4th down and 6.
The Cardinals surprisingly went to 2 very strange and very conservative plays during that first part of that series. They ran a strange little pitch play the first time out, don't get very many yards, come back with another running play, and then go to a shotgun, which seems to be inconsistent to me.
Program note to those viewers who have just joined us to watch Our House. Please stay tuned, as Our House will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game. Jeff Smith signals for the fair catch. It gets away from him. He may not have touched it. And at first touching by St. Louis, that will be the point where Kansas City will take over the ball.
That's the second time he's done that. The second time, the exact play, the ball bounced just about 2 yards behind him. Maybe the winds are swirling in here. That it was a swirling wind before, but that's very unusual that Smith would misjudge 2 punt returns in a row, and that was critical. I mean, that cost him another 10 or 12 yards.
47-yard kick. These are the early games. The Giants edging Denver. Right, there was 6 seconds to go, and we'll come back to all those scores in a minute. We don't want to rush into too big a hurry. First down for Kansas City. The ball at their own 18-yard line. Trailing by 9. Far side has a man. It is there. It is Henry Marshall. Big play for the Chiefs. Are they going to rule it incomplete?
Henry Marshall,
he was juggling it going out?
Yeah, I see he just dropped it over there on the far sideline, but he was wide open over there in the corner.
I thought he had it. Let's see if we can take another look.
2nd and 10.
As you see, wide open. He beats Cedric Mack. It just goes straight through his arms.
It does. I saw him streaking. I never picked up the ball. I thought that he had it. Oh. 2nd and 10, back at the 18. Cardinals still hanging on. You're a St. Louis fan. You know, you got all the fingers crossed on this one. And he steps away. Drops it to Paul Kaufman. And Kaufman is dropped.
And Kaufman makes the mistake, surprisingly for the veteran, of tumbling back inside instead of heading for the sideline. But there is a flag down.
So the clock is stopped. 2:20. Clipping against Kansas City.
Clipping, number 40 on the offense, still 2nd down.
You see Boyce Green going to the back of, is that Cedric? No, it's Carl Carter, number 41. And really an unusual, he didn't have to push it at all. He still made the tackle. In that circumstance, just let him go, just allow the receiver to try to get out of bounds.
Those are mistakes you just simply cannot make as we have a look at the early scores. And these are the games now going on with ours. And here it is St. Louis 23, Kansas City 14.
Oh, Seattle just a point now. Philadelphia coming back.
And the 2-minute warning will now be given to both benches. So with 2 minutes to go, it is St. Louis 23, Kansas City 14, and we'll be back to Busch Stadium in just a moment.
AT&T, the right choice. Denver trails San Diego by 4 late in the game, but John Elway passes his Broncos down to the Charger 1-yard line. 38 seconds remain. Should Elway roll out on a pass-run option or hand off to one of his backs? What would you do?
Hey, Chief, we need an 800 number.
We need more lines.
I think we need help.
I think we need a fax machine. I've been waiting for
Computer. New phones. I think we need help.
Today, what a growing business needs most is finding out what it needs most. From long distance to phone systems to telemarketing, AT&T has the answers.
No, but we need good stuff.
I think we need help.
Call our small business specialists. We can help.
What did you decide? A pass-run option can be effective, but it's also risky. So Elway handed to Sammy Winder, who secured the come-from-behind win for the visiting Broncos. Denver made the right choice.
Kansas City is letting the ball game get away from themselves. They had an opportunity here. They didn't even snap the ball or call a timeout prior to the 2 minutes.
Yeah, they fall apart completely there with just a little bit more than 2 minutes to go in the contest. You're at the line of scrimmage. You've got to snap the ball because you get the play off as well as getting the 2 minutes after the play is complete. So actually, you really save a timeout. Now, it's still 3 timeouts remaining for them. They have not used any.
But they would have gotten one more play out.
Right, they would have gotten another play out. So they either snapped the ball or used the timeout before the 2-minute warning hits. But Bill Kenny was caught sleeping in that occasion and did not get the play off. And as a result, the 2-minute warning sounded.
These are mistakes you simply cannot afford to make. 2nd down and 14. Kansas City at their 14. Trailing 23-14. Kenny throws, and it is complete at the 39-yard line to Henry Marshall. And Kansas City in their hurry-up offense, and the clock continues to move. Now remember, to win, they need a touchdown and a field goal. Far side, and the pass is... They're going to call the pass. Are they going to call it good there? Yes, they're going to call it good and out of bounds, stopping the clock. 1:34, it is Henry Marshall at the 47-yard line of St. Louis. And there are the numbers that the Chiefs are facing. And they have the first down. And the reason that I mentioned the fact that you can take the scoring plays in any order is that they may want to, if circumstances dictate, they may want to take the field goal first.
Right, they need a field goal and a touchdown. Yeah. So if they get into a position it's 4th and long, they may as well try and kick a field goal here.
Yeah. So keep that in mind. Just another option. This is dropped off and incomplete. Off of the hands of Mike Pruitt. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 47. And also remember that Nick Lowry can really nail it. He came up short from 46 yards away in this ball game, but he has hit this year from 47. Twice in his career has hit from 58 yards away, and has also hit from 57 and 54. And those are awesome numbers. Emil Harris is in as one wide receiver. It is 2nd down and 10. And he steps forward. He goes deep into double coverage at the 5-yard line, going to Harris. They're just dropping back in center field, waiting for him. Carter was there, and that Lionel Washington back with him, I believe. So it's going to be 3rd down and 10. Now you're back at the 47-yard line of St. Louis.
And they need just one pass completion to get within Lowry's range with 3 timeouts left. They can either try for the onside kick, and if they don't get it with 3 timeouts left, rely on their defense to hold St. Louis. So they've crawled back into the football game despite making some mistakes, like the Marshall drop on the sideline, which would have put them in an earlier position here after the first play of this series, and a mistake by Kenny by not getting a playoff before the 2-minute warning.
3rd and 10. It is incomplete. Marshall, the intended receiver. The official saying the ball had been tipped, therefore the defender can go ahead and unload on the receiver.
I believe so. He kept giving that tip signal to Henry Marshall, who looked around to complain because it appeared as if he was hit prior to the ball getting there. But if the ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage, the defensive back has the right to go through the receiver and bump him before the ball arrives.
Now we're at the moment of truth. 4th down and 10. 47-yard line of St. Louis. All that other speculation will go over the wayside here if you don't pick up the first down. It is knocked away by Cedric Mack. Walt Arnold, the intended receiver, the Cardinals hold, and they take over on down at their own 47-yard line.
And Kenny wanted a flag here as well. Let's take a look to see if Mack gets his left arm around and knocks the ball down. The question is, and we can't see it from this angle, did he lock his right arm around the receiver Arnold and pull him down at the same time he was knocking the ball away? Apparently not, because the official on that backside, looking at it, did not call it.
And St. Louis has the ball at their own 47-yard line, needing now only to run off 1:12 off of the clock. But remember, Kansas City has their 3 timeouts, and now, of course, we'll use them to try and have at least one more opportunity.
See, the 3 timeouts remaining don't do them any good. They had opportunity to call the timeouts prior and did not utilize them. You can't carry them over to next week. They don't get 6 next week because they didn't use 3 today.
But St. Louis has played an excellent football game. This is a ball club. You know, and when you talk to the people here or you look at their local television show, that Kansas City takes the time out here, and so we'll go away, and I'll finish that thought when we come back.
Bob, I need a trainer.
How about Eddie?
He's just a kid.
So was I.
You've worked long and hard to get there. When the time comes, you hope you're ready.
You make America work. This bus for you.
Here's to you. Beechwood age for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This bus for you. Take me back where I belong. Take me where this heart was born. Just take me as I am and let me stay. Take me home. Could you take me home? Never matters how far I go. Good here, take me home.
As we come back, Lomax completing 17 of 29, 185 yards. He's thrown for 3 touchdowns, intercepted 1 time. He has played well. 2nd down. Kansas City's defense trying to strip the ball. Ron Wolfley is the ball carrier with Art Still and Bill Moss there. Kansas City will take their 2nd timeout here, and that means that it is now time for the Budweiser Most Valuable Player Award. And today's MVP is J.T. Smith. 2 touchdown receptions, 5 receptions for 65 yards. And remember, it is sweet revenge for J.T. because he was with the Kansas City Chiefs for 7 years before they let him go.
And interestingly enough, the last time these 2 teams played, he wound up returning a punt for a touchdown for the Kansas City Chiefs to beat St. Louis.
That's
so
right.
He had the double whammy.
And Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all of the MVPs selected throughout the National Football League this season. So congratulations to J.T. Smith. 1 minute and 3 seconds. That is the time remaining. Next week, Kansas City home to host Buffalo, and St. Louis is here to host the Washington Redskins.
So the schedule doesn't get any easier for the Cardinals. But as we said coming in, the Cardinals did play a good football game today, and it bodes well for Gene Stallings because under these circumstances, it's the coach's responsibility to get a team ready to play, and apparently he did that very well today.
3rd down and 8, the ball at the 49-yard line. Kansas City with 1 timeout remaining. A little play action fake and then a pitch by Sikahima, 47-yard line. Kansas City, to see if they will take the last timeout. Yes, they do, but they still let 4 or 5 seconds just kind of slip away. Pete Koch with the tackle. Be sure to join us on Thursday for the traditional Thanksgiving Day football on NBC Sports. Your day kicks off with NFL 86 at 3:30 Eastern Time with Bob Costas. And then the Seattle Seahawks, hopefully on the comeback trail, will be going to Dallas. And boy, Dallas getting wiped up today. They are still, of course, a contender for the playoffs, as the Cowboys always are. The Thanksgiving tradition that continues this Thursday at 3:30 Eastern Time right here on NBC Sports. And then next Sunday, we'll be in Chicago for the Pittsburgh Bear game, where it's going to be cold again.
It's going to be cold. Pittsburgh's been playing better,
yes,
as you said, and the Bears had a real struggle.
Bears escaped.
And Jim McMahon was scheduled to play today. I don't know if he did or not, but he was scheduled after the shoulder soreness going away this week to come back in and play.
And since our telecast goes into Chicago, did Jim McMahon play today in that ball game? We will double check that. Everybody in Chicago that's watching this, they know. They know.
That's right, they do.
54 seconds left here. Taken at the 20-yard line, a fair catch. And this was Emil Harry.
So they did make the switch after Smith making the mistake of not feeling the ball back there. Emil Harry back on the punt return.
McMahon did play today. And Kansas City now out of timeouts. 48 seconds left. And St. Louis leading 23-14. 28 yards on that last kick. Kenny back to throw. Deep sideline and maybe intercepted. No, they're going to rule it incomplete. Marshall, the intended receiver.
That's still a tremendous play by Carl Carter.
Oh,
he was in that trail position, as I mentioned before. Only he had deep help. Someone is behind him, so he doesn't have to worry about the receiver going deep. He just follows him all the way around and dives, makes a nice play by cutting the ball off from the intended receiver, Henry Marshall.
McMahon, 12 of 32, 95 yards, intercepted 3 times, ineffective, replaced by Thompson.
And so the layoff really hurt McMahon with that sore shoulder in a couple of weeks.
Looking forward to seeing him. We played golf at the Diners Shore last year. Looking forward to seeing him next week. On the ball, bounces up. It may never have touched the ground. Here goes Page. And Page goes out of bounds inside the 20.
That's unbelievable. And they're talking about it way back. This may be called back. If it bounced up off somebody's foot, then Page did make the reception, but I'm not sure that happened.
Page is, I think he's just winded, though, isn't he? All right, now let's take another look.
Well, where does this ball bounce? Does it hit another player and bounce back up in the air?
All right, hits the Cardinal. Goes down, comes up. Now, did the ball hit the turf?
It's tough to tell from that particular angle. But a heads-up play anyway by Page. I mean, he has no idea where it bounced, where it hit. He might as well go and give it a shot.
Yeah, we need to take another look at that. That's deservative of a deservative. That's a new word that I created for this play. That deserves another look. Now, the other question is the ball down? Is the pass incomplete? Or did the ball touch the ground? Let's look again.
All right, different side. Here's a better look.
Elbow. No, ball has not touched the ground.
No, it has not.
Ho, ho, ho.
A heads-up play by Page.
All right. The ball never touched the ground. The elbow touched the ground. The ball came back up. Let's replay that angle just another time. That particular one. That's a great replay that Ken Edmondson and Harry Coyle have captured for us.
And that's Cedric Mack with the interception, near interception. When he hits the ground, the ball pound. Now, here's another question. Did he have position before he hit the ground? And when he hits the ground...
Did the ground cause the fumble?
Right.
Hey.
Did he or did he not? There's a lot of questions here for Fred Silva, our replay official, to call. I think that he does not have possession yet because he's on his way to the ground.
So the ball is still in play.
It's still in play, and I think the play should stand downfield with Stephon Page pushed out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. And a flag was just thrown in the air by the officials.
And that's,
Based on review by the replay official, the play stands. It's an interception, first down.
So the ruling then is that he had possession, he hit the ground, and the ball the fumble was forced by the ground.
All right, now look at that again. What he is saying is that the Cardinals have the interception, and then when they come down, the ball is jarred loose by the ground. The ground cannot cause a fumble.
Now the question, does he have complete possession before he hits the ground?
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 20 on the defense, 15 yards, first down.
And Cedric Mack has his second interception.
And I looking at it again, it seemed we had a little closer angle that time. I have to agree with Fred Silva. It seemed like he did have a good possession of the ball before it hit the ground.
And the ground cannot cause a fumble.
Absolutely.
So the ball is dead there. Cedric Mack has his second interception. We have a mini controversy. They're always fun.
And we have an unsportsmanlike conduct called against the Kansas City Chiefs, so tack out another 15 yards.
I think that was on Deron Cherry, if I was correct. Is that right? We're checking that. I believe that's what he said. And so now St. Louis, they'll just run out the clock. Kansas City out of timeouts, and so that effectively is the end of the ball game. The final score here is St. Louis 23 and Kansas City 14. And so for the St. Louis Cardinals, their record now is 3-9, and for the Kansas City Chiefs, the struggle goes on. In the West, the record is 7-5. As Denver has lost, the Giants win. Chicago wins by 2. Cincinnati wins by 4. Cleveland in overtime. The victors. New England had to come from behind the last couple of minutes of that ball game. Houston wins. Detroit wins. Washington with a big lead, and the Rams in front of New Orleans. San Francisco. And stay tuned after these messages.
National fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines, serving 13 cities in Asia and the Pacific. United, a fresh breeze across the Pacific.